Ha! I should probably have turned my mic on for that. Don't worry, you didn't miss anything. Right now, we're just waiting for people to jump on in. Oh, hey, let me get rid of this here. Hold on a second, everyone. Dun, dun. All right, there we go. All right, cool. We've got the feed up. We've got the heat map up on the screen. Tonight, we're going to take a little bit different vibe. We're going to chill out a little bit. In case you haven't seen, the announcement was made. We've got a bottle of Hatteras Red here, sweet muscadine wine. Let's go, everyone. Now, here's the deal. I cannot get totally, too heavy like this because I got one more training session to do tonight. I got to get right around 24,000 steps in worth of cardio. I'm pretty close, so I do have one more session tonight, so I can't get too crazy. Gary Talon says what it is. This is Hatteras Red. Hatteras Red. It's really full, real full, real heavy, a lot of flavor to it. It's good whether at room temperature or heavily chilled. It's a bolder flavored sweet wine. It's native to North Carolina in this area, and the only thing that they make in this area are muscatine grapes, and it's because the ground really sucks, so this is the type of grape they got. So cheers, everyone. All right, and got a few things that I want to go over tonight. Obviously, we're going to talk some price. We're going to talk some statistics and usage, stuff like that. We're going to get into also, some learning of some things, and then we're also just going to be hanging out, answering questions, and that's kind of what the vibe is supposed to be mainly of tonight, everyone. The vibe of tonight is supposed to be just hanging out, what is going on. You guys tell me, what do you guys want to talk about? Final Kens chimes in, another shot at Jaeger. Cheers all. Final Kens, actually, for those of you that scroll up in the comments, Final Kens was basically saying, guess what, guys? I'm pre-gaming it early on this one. So shout out to Final Kens for bringing the booze to the drink. Robert Melvin says cheers and evening to you, Robert Melvin. And Robert, good to see you in the chats as well, or the comments for the video. So thank you for those comments, guys. They are very appreciative. I don't get a chance to reply to all of them. I read all of them, even the spam ones, because you see I still try to clean up the spam in the comments. But right now, a few things we got going on. And this one right here, guys, this is the story. B&B. And Gary's saying I got an echo coming through. If I bring it a little bit closer, Gary, is that any better? Let me know how the sound is. Sorry about that, everyone. I should have checked for the sound. Roaring Rookie says, what's up? What's up to you, Roaring Rookie? We are doing a little bit of red wine. Sniff is here. Says, I'm eating hellish shrooms tonight. So we're skipping the microdosing, and we're going straight to it. So what's up, Sniff? How's it going to you out there? So big thing tonight right now is BNB. And yes, Roaring Rookie, G-Ride Talk. I've got G-Ride Talk for you people out there. You're going to love this one. But BNB, everyone, down big, man. And BNB woes are bringing down the entire market. This is crazy. You guys, okay, so you guys are getting an echo. Give me a second here. Let me switch up on something. Hold on here. All right, I want to make sure that I don't have... Oh, here we go. Hold on. I found it. Boom. Echo is gone. There you go. Solved it on the fly. But yeah, big news tonight is that we've got BNB, all right, pulling down the entire market. There's big concerns here with BNB, and it's from multiple fronts, all right? O'Leary threw some shade on BNB, and here's part of the problem. Part of the shade that he threw on BNB, one of his statements wasn't wrong. He said they're the biggest unregulated monopoly out there, and he's totally right. All right, he's totally right. The rest of the stuff he said was full of shit, but you see, he's totally right about that. The problem with BNB is now their auditor bails on them. Their auditor's bailing on all of crypto, like, yo, we're not certifying anything. I mean, this is crazy stuff, man. Crazy stuff. Yeah, there should be no more reverb. I had 2 input sounds coming in, so we should be clear right now. Final Kens is saying, hey, I've got shrooms as well, but I'm waiting. My son's here tonight, so I can't get too wild. I have to drink wine tonight. This is how much I got right here. I've got that to drink tonight because I have one more training session to go, which really sucks. So I can't get too crazy. But that's the tone of tonight, is just chilling out. What do you want to talk about? What is on your mind? Hoskinson out there saying, hey, perpetuating the rumor that there's going to be a settlement. Man, these big players need to shut up. Problem with what Hodgkinson said is this, is it's twofold. Not only does it make, him just look like a complete moron, but the crypto world that he represents, the ecosystem that he represents, is like, you're an idiot. You're just a total idiot, Hodgkinson. So it's horrible, Professional thing right there would have been, you know what, I don't know anything. No, sorry, I didn't hear the rumor. Next question. I mean, because you make comments that people can't defend themselves on, and that's really, really tough. But you're going to see some reddish heat map here for a while. Things are going to get real rough here, especially at the end of the year, all right? You're going to see a new class of people enter the market. These are the people that are going to be selling, knowing that there's more pain to come because the Fed just announced it, all right? The Fed just talked about it, and Roaring Wookie, thank you very much. Merry Christmas to you, sir. Appreciate that very, very kindly. But like the Fed said, hey guys, we got a few more years of pain to come. So that's why you're going to see some softness in the market. So the softness in the market is going to be followed even further by a new group. This new group of people is people that are looking to get out because of taxes. So they're going to settle a loss to hope to buy later, knowing that if they sell within that 1 year mark, they're saving on taxes. They can write it off as a loss. So kind of be very careful. There's a lot of downward pressure right now happening in the market. Bitcoin miners. I don't know how many of you guys out there follow Bitcoin miners. I've been following Bitcoin miners. It's rough. It is very, very rough. And again, super thank you to Roaring Wookie. Merry Christmas to you too. And don't worry, we'll get to G-Ride talk later. I've got G-Ride updates because, yes, I've been putting miles on her. Hell yeah. I think I've been putting like 60-something miles on her so far. It's just a dream to drive. I love that car. Vlad is chiming in. Good evening, sir. Michael Chavez says, hey, a few years of pain to stack up. Why not? And that's the whole thing. If you're prepared for the pain, then it's not bad, if that makes sense, right? Like if you know it's coming, you know how to prepare for it more in an informed way. And that's kind of one of the things I wanted to focus on here is the projection of GDP. Yeah, I'll get the volume up. Thanks, Gary, for letting me know. Let me, give me a second here. Let me go to the settings and I will pump up the volume just a little bit here. All right, let me know if that's any better. I just don't want to blow up my voice too much because I'm kind of fighting a little bit of a cold. Thank you, Roaring Wookie. I do appreciate that. But here's the deal. The change in real GDP is telling us what the Fed thinks that our growth rate is going to be. Now, when we have high rates of growth, that ties in with cheaper and more available money out there. So what the Fed is telling us, and GDP should be right around 2.0. That's going to be this line right here if I could draw straight, okay? So what the Fed is saying, 2024 and 2025, the majority of the members of the Fed are saying, hey, we expect low growth. And thank you guys for the feedback and let me know how the sound is. But they're saying, so there's low growth in 2024, 2025. Now, longer run, they're expecting things to heat back up. And even some people are thinking, hey, we're going to be like a pent-up machine that roars. But the way you go with the pent-up machine that roars theory is you have to be suppressed for longer to suppress more money on the sidelines. It's not just crypto money that's right now being pushed to the sidelines by venture capitalists. This is happening in a lot of other marketplaces out there. Pay attention to retail real estate, all right? Commercialized real estate. Look at that, okay? Like retail big spaces. They're going to be just so cheap now. You're going to have a lot of places go further electronic rather than getting out of box stores. So just something to kind of think of, that this right now is what they're saying is they're looking at slower growth the next couple of years. When you have that more growth, that's when you got more money being injected into places. That you're looking to hear what they're saying projection-wise is 2025 and on. Messi Leo says, according to the BIS, the bank is allowed to have 2.5% in crypto. That would be nice if almost every bank would be allowed to have 2.5% in crypto. And I'll tell you, that's, if that's one of the things that I think upset me about everything, and I'm going to put a picture up in the background just so you guys can see. This is the last run here, okay? This is the run, and this is kind of what we're in right now. What really upset me with this was not the fact that we rocketed up knowing that, hey, if there's not support, we're going to fall back down. What really upset me was that you did not see any government officials out there with any sort of teeth do any sort of regulation protection for some of the obvious stuff during this time. And that's what bothers me is they allowed this to happen. They allowed this to happen. Biden's weak executive order happened right here and did absolutely nothing. And again, look, no protection for the market, and we're right here. And it almost looks like a weird funky penis. But the thing is you're looking way, way down the road, everyone. Let's get out a drawing. You're looking way down the road here for legislation to come in the road. You guys, these bills that are in the House and in the Senate right now are dead. I did a video on it maybe about a month and a half ago. I got roasted. Ooh, tonight's flavor is Skittles, and that's with a Z at the end. That's at a Z at the end, just throwing it out there. But here's the deal, all right? The deal is all the bills that were put in Congress are dead, all right? New session here starts up in like, what, 2 weeks, right? There's no bill that's getting through right now. There's no way that they're going to risk any sort of crap right now. So that means now you're looking at the sessions in here, you're looking at the summer, and you're going to see, hey, wait a minute, what is going to make them move? So what makes me think a lot about what is going to happen with the future of crypto, right? What are we going to be seeing here? If we don't see any regulation here soon, you're just going to see more pain. You're going to see more pain to the downside the more we start going into this 2023, 2024 phase. You're going to see more pain this way. And I think the problem is because the government isn't acting at different phases, the genie that's been let out of the bottle now is so big, right? I mean, when we zoom out and we start looking at this nice mess that I made right here, holy shit, you guys. And the funny thing is the wine bottle is covering it up. So, that's not helping. But, when we look at the mess that we got right here and we start zooming out, the problem I got is, again, the genie that was in the bottle in 2018 was one thing. Then there was no regs 2019, 2020. Ooh, look, we got people chiming in with an IPA now. What's up, Barrel Tech 89? How are you? People chiming in with their favorite flavors to get cross-faded with. So we've got a very sophisticated group in the crowd tonight. Rock on, everyone. I appreciate it. But the deal here is this. The government just hasn't stepped in, and this is governments all around the world, all right? Let's be totally fair with each other here. No government out there is really leading the way when it comes to giving true crypto definition except for ultimate bans, all right? There's really no government that's doing it right. The taxes are crazy for the ones that are pro-crypto. India, I thought, was doing like 26 to 30%. That'll stifle a market. I mean, think that's what they did to the cannabis industry in the United States, especially when it came to exporting stuff from Canada into the United States, like grow farm wise. They killed them on taxes. So the Canadian growers, you guys ever wonder why cannabis stocks are so cheap? Because the taxes that these Canadian growers are paying, like when it comes across the border, is insane. That kills in their margins so badly. In fact, okay, the growers, and I don't mean to go on a tangent, but this is kind of what you see with the crypto industry where governments are overtaxing these things to stifle growth. If a government doesn't believe in something, okay, it's sometimes very hard to get laws to just outright ban it because you're going to have a lot of pushback. But you can fight it financially, and that's what they did with cannabis. So here's the problem. So like all of this weed that you got that's coming in cannabis coming in from Canada, right? Through the United States, through all of those programs that they have, that stuff is taxed insane. That has to now compete with local growth. So now a Canadian business is already going to be behind because of the taxes, tariffs they pay going across the border. All right. Yeah, that stops that extra, amount of competition coming in there. But the whole thing is the industry itself just becomes a mess because of it. This is very much what you're seeing with crypto. So just as Canadian cannabis growers can't do their thing, crypto companies get stifled by governments that aren't making obvious rules and regulations, obvious playbooks. Final Kens chimes in and says, at this current stage of the market, pretty much right now, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and my Doge, I think my favorite coins will go much lower, so I'm going to layer back in later. Yeah, and that's my thing. I'm not buying right now. I'm not buying right now because honestly, I'm seeing more and more economic projections like this. Even this one here, the inflation number. The inflation number is the big one. The reason why the inflation number is so big, oh shit, that's a highlighter, huh? We don't want that. The reason why the inflation number is so big is because remember, their target rate is 2.0. That's this red line right there, all right? This one right here is right on that 2.0 line. That's what their inflation goal is. So what they're telling us right now is that inflation is going to be high in 2023 and 2024. That means rates going up, up, and up. That's problematic, everyone. That's problematic because as rates go up, it means, guess what? You're going to have prices, right, of things just going up, right? Loans are going to cost more. All that printed fiat that went in the world to pump up crypto is now getting soaked up by higher interest rates. That's how the Fed is taking care of all the extra printed stuff from the government. They're soaking it up with interest rates. And central banks across the globe take cues from the Fed, and they raise rates like that on everyone. Adroba says, did I miss any news? What's causing the drop? What's causing the drop is you have Binance, right? That's the main thing, all right? Binance is the big deal. That's what's bringing down the market right now. You've got Binance, who's got some shade thrown at them. You've got their people that are doing their audit are bailing out on them and bailing out on the rest of crypto. You've got O'Leary out there that says Binance is an unregulated monopoly, which is true. That part's true. The rest of O'Leary's stuff was shit, but that part was true. By the way, cheers, everyone. Cheers. And yeah, list what you're consuming tonight, if you guys don't mind. What you're consuming and don't put your location if what you're consuming doesn't fit your location, if you get what I'm saying. But just what you're consuming or your location. It's up to you guys. Cheers, everyone. But the problem, though, with the whole BNB thing is that now BNB is the big kid on the block. I want you to think of this from a strategy-wise, right? FTX being the second biggest kid on the block is now gone. A lot more business goes into BNB. A lot more money funnels into BNB, okay? And the problem you got is that BNB is just as unregulated as the rest of these. All right? CZ is not trustable. None of these guys are trustable. The only time they were trustable is when they were helping out, all right? And thank you very much, Sniff. Give me 1 second. I will get to your comment super fast. But the big issue is that, you know, the attack now is on the big player of the block. And when the big player on the block gets attacked, the whole community suffers from it. So, I mean, even you know, if XRP, XLM, like our favorite cryptos that there aren't connected in any way into BNB, everything is so fragile right now that the problem you got is that if you do have another big one to fall, like Binance, then that's going to just pull down the whole market even further. So that's the big news right now that's pulling the market down, but it started with the economic projections from the Fed. Sniff chimes in, and thank you very much, Sniff. Sniff says, with automation and popular control wiping out jobs, where do you see humanity heading? What value does the common person bring without labor? Sniff, thank you for asking that. All right, Sniff, my background, okay, is in manufacturing. I would be a person that would go to a facility, and in the facilities that I was responsible for, I would decide, hey, are we keeping people? Are we expanding? Are we using robots? Are we going to a second shift, third shift, split shifts? That was my thing. Like, I got really involved with that on a corporate level. And so I can tell you firsthand, all right, what I'm seeing and what's happening. Automation is the way of the world. I want you to think of Walmart, okay? When Walmart first did their self-checkout lanes, people were like, yo, give me 5% discount. I'm doing your job, right? That's kind of what you heard in the beginning. Now we're like, yeah, I want to go to self-checkout because I don't want this fool touching my stuff. You know, so you've seen like this weird adoption of it. What about McDonald's? McDonald's is another one, right? You go now and you can order on the touch screens. You don't even need to talk to people. Those are entry-level jobs wiped out of the market. Tollways, everyone. As a kid, right? So let's talk about G-Rides real quick here. All right. So, you know, when we used to be bad kids and we used to do our street racing and stuff like that, you know, you used to go in the toll booth and you remember you used to have like the handful of change. You used to throw it in a little basket that had all the little like holes drilled in it. So like the rain could fall through, but the change would stay in. So, you know, like stuff like that. Think about all those toll, think all the people that you could like pay at the toll. All those jobs have been wiped out, right? You got your I-passes, peach passes, you know, whatever you got. So when it comes to automation and what comes to what's happening to humanity, the problem I see is that as a whole, I think our population is getting way too big for not the sustainability of our ecosystem. I think our ecosystem can sustain us if we act more reasonable. But what I think the problem is we're outgrowing population size to the job availability market. And the reason that is as you see technology spread, it decreases worker populations and makes it into a more specified higher range workforce. The problem you have here is, and I can tell you this firsthand, I have shut places down in farm towns. All right? I'm not proud of it. I am not proud of it. I have friends, though, that I still talk to this day about that work there, or worked there. Sorry, that was wrong to say. And I can tell you, shutting down a plant in a small town is a tough thing. But it's happening all over the world. And the scariest part is, okay, the places of the world sniff that are being exploited very heavily right now are the places that have a lot of resources. Think of Africa. And they're being exploited at such a high rate by other countries. China is heavily exploiting Africa. China's been putting so much money into like gold and diamond mines and precious metal mines in Africa. That's not even funny. They're buying tons of shit out. By the way, China's also buying gold mines and all that, like, holy shit, in like large quantities. So you're going to see this automation, this technology now affect countries like Africa, where there was even a soft labor market to begin with. And that soft labor market, the bottom of the pyramid, was very heavily dense with very low labor skill. That now you're going to start seeing wiped out as technology starts getting through to them. Think of the stuff we just see, right? Stellar just did a program where you could use blockchain, all right? And you could use blockchain and pay with cell phones. Think of now how many more jobs like that digital money is going to replace. So as much as digital money is cool, digital money now is going to get rid of a lot of cashiers, right? So think of all those emerging countries now where they're going to have just ATMs dispense your cash instead of people. Think of MoneyGram when as cool as it is that they're helping us out with stuff, here's the problem. With MoneyGram, though, what if MoneyGram then in the future is like, hey, guess what? We're just going to put ATMs in instead. So the 3 or 4 people that worked at location X, we're going to replace you with ATMs. People just go, put your phone in, done, right? You know, you do your transaction. That's jobs that are going to be lost too, man. So Sniff, great question. Sniff was just asking like what I thought about automation and what it's going to do. And I really think that we need to come back to more jobs where we're making things. You know, I want to see more manufacturing. I want to see more manufacturing where we're making stuff. And I do understand the use for robotics, but the problem is you can't treat people like robots. And there is a damage. There's a definite damage to workforces and societies. New Anomaly Production says smart contracts with self-running companies for insurance, hotel stays, convenience stores, fast food, global CBDC. UBI is going to be begged for after a famine. Yeah. And I think that's the other thing too is you do have some fears out there, you know, where people are talking about famine, not being able to produce food and stuff like that. And I think that's very true. I think one of the things that woke a lot of us up during the pandemic was how many people were in need of food. I saw it out by me. The food banks by me were crazy. The lines were massive, man. Massive, massive. They had them at schools. They had them at churches. They had these little places that were rented out that they would do like these pop-up drop stations. And it all had to do with the funding that came with the Rona. But the problem is the need, though, is crazy. I mean, there's a lot of populations that are barely teetering on functioning. And that's in first world societies. I mean, we do have a lot of societal problems, everyone. Final Ken chimes in, so glad my girl's a dancer and I trade and do gig work as a backup. Yeah, have as many diversified income streams as you can. Okay, what we're going through right now, and cheers everyone, by the way, I am drinking some Hatteras Red Muscatine wine. I still have to work out one more time tonight. I can tell you how many, I still got to do another 4,000 steps and I'll hit my goal. So as soon as I'm done with this, I'll have to do some cardio tonight, but whatever. So cheers everyone. But yeah, tonight is the night where you get to ask whatever you want and I get to answer it. A little bit more of a chill vibe. Ben emailed me, so you guys can all thank Ben for this one. Ben emailed me, and Fernando Lopez says, cheers, thank you, Fernando. But Ben emailed me a few days ago and was like, dude, you know, do you want to just have like a chill out one? And I was like, yeah, dude, I'm totally down. So we just talked about it back and forth with email, and he expressed to me some of his concerns and stuff. And I know you guys have concerns and questions, and you know, we could always go heat map. You know, we could always dig into what's going on with the news, but I thought I would give you guys an opportunity to ask your questions and like let this be your stream. Like, I do have stuff prepared, but you know. And BarrelTech89 says, "What do I think of Solana? Solana is in deep crap. The more that gets unraveled with FTX, the more you're going to realize that Solana is essentially done." I mean, and that's part of the problem. Okay, so Solana right now, if you look at them, and here's for you, BarrelTech. So Solana, here's the problem. The reason why they're down is one of the biggest right now is because as these hearings go on, okay, as we start going through more bankruptcy stuff, as these people start filing, and as you start seeing like the list and all this stuff built up, you're getting more and more information on how a lot of Solana is just going to just fall to the wayside. There was a lot of holdings tied into it and a lot of development. A lot of the TVL and liquidity in there was fake. There was a lot of fake volume between FTX and Alameda, especially when it comes to Solana. So there's a softness there, and that's why they're one of the ones that are down big. Same with BNB, right? They've got their own situation. Bitcoin is holding its own. Basically, the Solana phone, which right? It's Solana phone. Thanks, Sniff, for bringing that up. But here's the problem with Solana phone. All right, again, was there even enough of an audience that would want it to deem that interest worth it? Right? Think any business out there all still works on supply and demand. All right. And that's the whole thing. It's all supply and demand. Why do you think cannabis prices are so low in Colorado? Because there's so freaking much of it. Yeah, the demand is high, but the supply is crazy freaking high. And because competition is like so heavy, there's so much competition, so much price competition, it's supply and demand. All right, so you have to think that applies to crypto, that applies to money, that applies to venture capitalists, that applies to real estate industries. It's all supply and demand. Right now, what is the demand for a lot of these projects? Like what's the use case for Solana? Who are the developers that are going to be using it to have a person, a buyer, right? Like the Solana phone. It's not a bad idea. It's not that it's a bad idea. And if I said that earlier, I apologize. It's not that it's a bad idea, but is there a market to match it? Here's my story. You guys want a story? I got a story for you guys, and cheers real quick. And the NFT thing, we'll talk about the NFT more, Barrel Tech. Remind me, if you don't mind, a little bit later, we'll talk about NFTs. But here, all right, let's talk about in the crypto space what the biggest problem we're seeing, or one of the biggest, okay, has to do with supply and demand. Colorado residents made only 6 tax payments with crypto out of 1.37 million payments in 3 months. So here's the deal. There were 1.37 million tax payments made in a 3-month period, a quarter. All right? Here's the deal. 6 of those payments were paid in crypto. That's it. So again, that's another one, right? They had a product, right? A payment pathway, right? So, and someone spent money to make this happen. It's not like developers built this shit for free. No, someone spent money. Here's the problem. 1.37 million people and only 6 of them came from crypto. That's like no usage in 3 months. So again, there was a product that was developed, but there was no customer need for it, because apparently the other 1.37 million people were like, dude, I could pay my taxes normally, so what am I worried about? Just food for thought. Just food for thought. Trick says, Klaus, I pay 100 on the ounce, sell 220. Yeah. I mean, sorry about that, everyone. And what's up, Coach MC? Good to see you here, sir. We're just hanging out, just answering questions. Yeah, and I think that's the idea. All right, Trick, I want you to hear me out on this, okay? You buy an ounce for 100, and we're going off the rails, but that's okay. We said we could do this today. We said it would be about you guys. You buy an ounce for 100, you flip it for 220, right? I buy a G-Ride for 1,000. I put $300 into it. I'm into it for 1,300. I flip it for what, 65, 7,000? Same concept, right? What people are doing, they're using your principle, Trick, and what they're saying is there's other places out there that you can make money. There's other ways you can make money. Venture capitalists right now are pulling money to the side when it comes to crypto. They're still getting into real estate. Venture capitalists is still heavy into real estate in rural areas. Very heavy, because the premiums are there. The premiums for rural real estate is still way high. Venture capital is still there. But what you could see is that, what's happening is people are looking for other ways to make money, right? You know you can't make money in crypto right now. You know, right, that later when the next bull run happens, right, you get to deal with all that fun stuff, right? That's why I brought up this chart here. We've gone through this 2 times, 3 times. It's going to keep happening, you know? So when you look at this, right, people are going, well, hey, wait a minute. If we're going to have a cool down period of a couple years, because that was the time between the last 2 bull runs, and if the Fed is going to tell us for the next couple years we've got issues going on, Robert Melvin just said it, and I saw it out the corner of my eye. I just saw it out the corner. I just turned my head slightly. Bam, you're right. Side hustle. That's the point. That's the point. All right? So what people are doing, what venture capitalists are doing, what business industry people are doing is they're putting money to work elsewhere because they know the crypto bet is going to take 2 years at least to pay off before the next run happens. So that's why you're seeing this volume down so much. It's because not just that retail trading is down, because you guys know retail trading is way down, but it's also that venture capital money is down too. See, venture capitals, they were the riskiest here of the group. Venture capitalists, seriously, their business plan is this. Shotgun approach. Just pump and spray, pump and spray. You have winners and losers. As long as you have more winners than losers, you're doing good. So they don't care if it's crypto, medicine, tech, or aeronautics, space. They don't care. They have winners and losers, and it's just a math game for them. So I do. I'm looking at this going, hey, I think, with the Fed and all that, I mean, that's what's going on. The one says, why is the market dumping? All right, well, the market's dumping for several reasons. First thing first has to do with this right here. Fed projections. The Fed is telling us that there's pain for 2023 and 2024. They're saying inflation is going to be high. When inflation is high, guess what? Money's expensive. The other big news, Binance. Binance, the company that audits Binance, bailed out on them. Binance said, yo, we out. Like, your books are so freaking cooked and complex, we can't do it. And that's here's the thing. I want you guys to think of this principle, okay? So I have done P&Ls for companies in the hundreds of millions of dollars, okay? So like big complex lines. I have worked with very, very intricate projects with very intricate finances. What I can tell you is this, as intricate as what we did. We were buying stuff from across the border, shipping it back, doing intercompany work within, but also different price. It was just a bunch of stuff, okay? A bunch of different pathways of money, where it came from, expenses, marketing groups, tech, all that kind of stuff. You could still understand our books, okay? I could go on Coinbase. I could go on any publicly traded company out there and show you line by line how their books rock. Like, I can show you where all the money goes. What's happening with these auditors, okay? These auditors are going into places like Binance, FTX, and they're like, yo, I have no idea. Like, I do not know what to do. Like, these books are a mess. And that's the problem. It's not that their business models are complex, because they are complex. Because trust me, if I were to show you like a flow diagram of like what our process chart looked like at some of the facilities I was at, it would take up like this whole room behind me. You would see hundreds of Post-it notes. The problem is they made it complex so that people couldn't understand it, so that they couldn't understand like the math behind it, so they couldn't see if it was bullshit or not. All of these the internalized tokens, right? Your BNB, your FTT token, all that kind of stuff, it's all junk. It's not needed. They made it so that they can make money to artificially pump up their stuff. TRX is the same thing. Same thing. Sniff says, CZ said, hey, couldn't answer whether or not Binance had 1.5 billion in liquid. That's the problem. Is so these companies, right, like these auditing companies are looking at their books going, dude, your books are a mess. Like, what are you doing? Like, this makes no sense. That's why they're not certifying this crap anymore. And before what happened, the stuff was so complex and made to be complex because they were schemes and scams that they fooled a lot of these auditing companies. And how many of you guys out there, all right? How many of you guys out there know that how many of those tokens in the other token pool over here were audited and verified, and then all of a sudden were rug pulls anyways? I mean, that's what this story is right here. Only 2% of cryptos, everyone. 2% of cryptos have a healthy liquidity, finds a study. Dang, man. Dang, 2%. Basically what they're saying here, 2% of the cryptos, 22,034 is last time I checked. 2% of those cryptos have enough trading to make it possible, to make it functionable. You know what that tells me? That tells me 90% of cryptocurrencies, 2% of crypto coins having healthy liquidity. 98. That means 98% of the coins out there do not have healthy liquidity to trade. That means there's no interest. That's a polite way of saying 98% of tokens are essentially zombies. That is a polite way to interpret what they're saying there. So now if you have Binance go down, you already have 98% of the cryptos done. Anything then attached to Binance, Tether, USDT, you guys, we've been talking about that. We've been talking about Tether a long time on this. We've been talking about Tether for like a year and a half on this channel. I mean, the OG fans out there viewing the members chiming in, the old fans. Trick, you've been around Sniff, you've been around for a while. Sniff, you've been with the channel for a long time, man. Like, you know, like we talked about Tether how many times. We know the fakeness behind it. And I think that's what bothers me about this. Is you're going to have a lot of fallout in the industry. The problem is the fallout you're going to have is healthy because we got to flush the crap out. It's just painful. Okay, you want to, I'll liken it to an example for you. A lot of people out there were like, you know what, we need a lot of crypto to go to zero. You know, that's what, and I like your layer 2 comment. But a lot of people are like, we need the cryptos to go to zero. A lot of the junk, a lot of the mean, a lot of the poo, right? Because it cuts into the money that's being spent on crypto. Oh shit, transition, Pimpin' Peter Griffin, I did it. You guys didn't think I would do it tonight. Shame, shame. But that's the problem. The money in crypto, okay? Here's the money in crypto right here. The problem is, as you have companies like FTX fall, you start shaving money off the top. Where's Final Ken's at? Hey, Final Ken's, after a while, you got to spend money to make sure your girl looks good. You got to update your fashion with the latest trends. That's not free. That comes out of girls' paychecks. That's the same idea with FTX, right? We're taking money off the top. All right, so now you got the scammers and grifters like Pimpin' Peter Griffin. Pimpin' Peter Griffin is normally a really good person, but in this, we're gonna make him a villain, okay? Pimpin' Peter's gonna be a villain here. Pimpin' Peter's a grifter. Grifters also take money off the top. All right, so there you go. You got that. You got poo coins. Poo coins take more money away from the crypto pool. There's poo coins right there. What about news? Bad news definitely takes away, like the Binance stuff takes away. So once you realize it, okay, this now pool of money it becomes way less, okay? The volume, the rocket becomes way less when you compare it to previous runs. Here's the difference, everyone. The difference is now the money that returns is only going to go into a couple of places, the legit places. And that's what people are looking for. What we're looking for in the next rebound is the rebound of utility, where yes, there is less money. And seriously, don't let anyone out there convince you otherwise. All right? Is look at this right here. There's less money. There is definitely less money into crypto. But the problem is that there's a ton of poo coins to put it in, a ton of scammers out there, a ton of shitty companies out there. Once we start wiping out the junk, that remaining money, which is less, only has a few places to go to. You have to look at this in terms of it's healthy to purge the market. It's painful to go through. It is freaking pain. Okay, all right. Let's get into it, ladies. Here's the deal. So, painful going through the market. Those of you out there that are my age or older, okay, you were lucky enough to trade in the late 90s and early 2000s when the dot-com bubble was happening. My mom, most amazing lady in the world, if I might say, my mom got me an E-Trade account early. Statute of limitations, there you go, so suck it. But I did, I traded early. And I got into it, and I did really good right as that boom was happening. Now, when the bust happened, okay, I got cleaned pretty good. Now, granted, in my overall, I was still positive, and that's because like I took a lot of money out as I went up. But when it crashed, like I lost a lot of potential earn, you know, which is fine. I learned at a young age, right? The problem was that at that moment, I got out of tech a little bit. I was like, God, tech is too risky, man. Like, I'm in my early 20s at this point, buying a house. I'm like, yo, tech is, I don't know if I can justify putting my money in tech. I could put my money in like a sick, like WRX build. You know, something cool, because in 2002 is when the Turbo WRX came out. The 2.0, by the way. The 2.0. So, anyways, that was the thought of my mind, and it got me out of tech. The problem for me was that I got out of tech. And I got out of tech not just in the investing way, but also in like the way of the enthusiast, where I kept up with it. But now look what came out of tech. The Amazons, the Microsofts, right? All these big tech players out there. Look at what happened. Look at what happened with the internet. Look at my industry that I got in. Once my industry grasped the internet and how we could use it to run like reports on the fly, it totally revolutionized the business I was in. So like I got lucky to where like I grew up like on the start of where tech and like analog, you know, were just happening. So I saw like the previous analog ways. I can tell you this, my first job, I remember doing the books by hand. Like there was a lined ledger, I kid you not. And we had the checks on the right hand side. You would like fold them, like they were perforated. So you'd fold them and it had 3 checks and there were little like carbon pieces underneath. So I mean like that's where I started. I remember being young, like way young, like first years. There were places I worked at that had the credit card slider with the little black bar where you would slide it and go like, ch-ch. So, I mean, I look at it as what happened to me before was I got scared out of an industry. Now I'm not scared out of crypto. Will I put money into it? Not for a while, because honestly, I think way more pain's to come. So is the Fed. So is the market here. I mean, we've got a ways to go. Now, there could be a lot of downward pressure. So I'm keeping my eyes and ears into crypto. I'm keeping it into Web3, in the development part of it. But right now, like a lot of you out there, side hustle's where it's at, man. New Anomaly chimes in, and thank you, New Anomaly, by the way. New Anomaly says, taxpayers bail out banks, then banks need compliant update and instant liquidity. Banks pay taxpayers for the coins. Man goes into cage, cage goes into water, buy up the ISF bank coins, and now. And you know, the thing is, though, everyone, is we're going to have to deal with some hurt, though, for a while. But you just have to understand, what are the utility, right? When we look at this pool of coins up on this screen, can you guys tell me, seriously, what the utility is of a lot of these? I mean, seriously, I'm being dead honest. What businesses are using, like, any of these coins here? When I shift over here and I go to the other pool, we're going to go deep, ladies. Oh, you see this? I hope none... Wait, if Sniff, if you should start feeling depending... Yeah, you should. If you just started, you're only a half hour in. So, Sniff, maybe you're not good. So, this might mess up your eyes, my good man. But like this here, look at all these. Can anyone tell me the utility of all these different tokens on the screen? And that's what I mean. The pool of money, all right? The pool of money, the pool of investments, the venture capitalists and all that kind of stuff here is all being drained by poo coins, by a lack of utility. All right? That will go to the wayside. Lack of utility always goes to the wayside. It's totally true. Oh, sorry there. And let's do a quick drink and then refill our glasses. So cheers, everyone. And the deal tonight, we're just chilling out. We're hanging out. The deal is this. You guys ask questions, and I answer them. I'm not worried about algorithms. I'm pretty sure this stream has already been demonetized by what we were talking. Yeah, stuff like that. So, whatever questions you guys got going on, whatever you guys want to talk about, man, I am totally up and open to it. And yeah, in terms of being ISO compliance, for there to be a compliance, there would have to be, drinking tea. I have my branched chain amino acids right here. So that's my backup to this. So don't you worry. I had tea earlier. I had green tea. Yeah, in terms of like ISO compliance and Roaring Wookiees back in the house, I want you to think about this. There's no such thing as compliance because no one's issuing compliance to them. They can use ISO 20,000 messaging, all right? There's no governing body. So, like, you just have to be careful with the use of the word compliance, and sometimes I make the mistake when I say that. It's not that they're compliant because you're not issuing a compliance to them. They're capable of using the same talking to each other. That's a good way of saying it. So Roaring Wookie says, how are you, Klaus? How's that grandbaby? Oh, you guys. Okay. This is also the other reason why I'm pissed. You guys want to see something cool? I can say whatever I want tonight, like, suck my balls. I don't like anyone in this house. See, like, I can say stupid stuff because no one's here. See, what happened was so my daughter, my two daughters live up in South Dakota, and they got hit with bad weather up there. They live very, very rurally. They're out close to Pier. And so my kids out there got hit with bad weather. My kids are supposed to drive to Chicago to see their grandparents in Chicago, and then they were going to go from Chicago to visit me and my wife down here with my son. And what happened was the bad weather stopped their plans. So my wife, the most wonderful person in the world, last night was like, yo, I'm going to Chicago for 4 days. I'll catch you later, homie. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah. So what happened was Amy and Bob left at like 6 this morning to go to Chicago. They're already in Chicago now. And they got up there, and they are seeing her sisters up there and her mom, but I will not be seeing the grandbaby. Roaring Wookie, your wife's family is from Danville. No kidding. See, we're far north. We're far north up. My wife's Chicago, but I'm western suburbs of Illinois. But yeah, it's just it sucks, man. Like I was excited, to have like a cool weekend. Amy and I had a few plans set up, and And she felt bad because she wasn't going to see her family for Christmas. And then she felt really bad that we weren't going to see the grandbaby. And then they had bad weather and it was like, holy shit. So yeah, so now I'm just here by myself. That's why I'm training so much, because I've got 4 days to myself where I can train just like hard, like time and time and time. That's why I'm only drinking wine, you guys, is because I seriously have to do cardio later still. I still got to do about 30, 40 minutes of cardio left, depending on how much I push it, in order to get to my goal for the day. So just throwing it out there, everyone. Let's see. Roaring Wookie says, your guys' winters are colder than mine in Alaska. Oh, man, Alaska is nice. Ooh, love Alaska. Counterparty Risk says, hello, Klaus. What's up, Counterparty? How are you? Let's see. It says Bitcoin will last through a blackout. The thing with Bitcoin is this, everyone. I want you to think of Bitcoin in a very interesting way. Bitcoining is an industry. It's an ecosystem. It has things that are built around it. It has payment systems that are built around it. It has mining that's built around it. It's got a whole bunch of stuff that's tied into it. And Bitcoin is obviously, you know, the OG crypto out there. But you can see even Bitcoin now has run into this how many times where without regulation, there just wasn't enough then institutional money to get it over the hurdle. See, the problem is that every time one of these Bitcoin's ever pumped, it's been speculative money that's pumped it up and that left the market, not money that's gone in to build, not money that's TVL'd it. So, you know what I mean? Like that's my idea. Let's see. I'm just trying to keep up with the comments. So FedEx says, so crypto market will suffer for some time. We should find some market that is going up and come back later. Yeah, and that's FedEx. That's actually exactly what's happening. Is investors are going to other things that they're like, I know I can seriously spend, hey, sweetheart, what's up? Got my doggy here. But I know that I can put 1,000, 2,000 somewhere and turn it into like 7,000, 8,000 like that. I can't do that for crypto for years. So if I want to make money on the side to screw around and do dumb stuff, like you got to side hustle it, because right now there's the only winners in cryptos are these companies that are doing wallets and so forth. Hey, sweetheart. Sorry, my dog's bugging me. She's getting all kind of excited. You guys stop. Hey, sweetie. Sorry, I left the door open to the studio and they obviously found me and they obviously want to play, but yeah, I mean it's the Barrel Tech 89. Barrel Tech 89 said if it gets the commodity stamp, it could be, hey, sweetie, stop. Don't be mean. Be a nice girl. If it gets the commodity stamp, it would be great for the price. If it gets the commodity stamp, it would be very easy, very, very easy for companies to work with that. And except it's very hard to do because it would have to be extremely decentralized for it to be deemed a commodity. Seriously, like the commodity thing is really kind of tough. Roaring Wookie says, what kind of dog? Leia, come here, sweetheart. Come on up. Come here. Sorry. I've got 2 shepherds here. Come here, sweetheart. I've got an all-white one. Come here, baby. Oh, hi, sweetheart. I've got my all-white one. She's the one that actually goes with me hiking. She does the mountain climbing with me. And then I got my big brutal one, my other female that you can hear there growling in the background. She's another shepherd. She's a shepherd Anatolian mix, and this is definitely Daddy's dog right here. Daddy's brutal dog. She's such a sweet girl. But they're both really good. All right, guys, go, get out. Go, yeah, go, come on, go. I'm trying to do this, go. Well, they might not leave me alone. But yeah, there are dogs. I love my dogs. Yeah, they're really good. Like Leia, my white one, she her and I do a lot of mountain climbing. We do a lot of adventure exploring. Her and I, we love walking and hiking rivers. It's really, really good for dogs. So what we do is we find a river, right? And we literally just go upstream for the longest time, and it's good for their hip muscles, it's good for their paws, it's good for the legs, it's nice cold water, and it's really, really therapeutic for shepherds. So the deal with that is I try to go river hiking with Leia like all the time, and so she's a very, very accomplished climbing and hiking dog. Leia is the one that's in the pictures. For those of you that didn't know, she's the one that does the mountain stuff with me, and her and I, we do off trail work. That's why I have to train so much. Hold on, where do I have it here? Yeah, I have to train so much. It's because we do off trail work, so I have to be in better shape than normal. because I go in really, really shitty places. And her and I have done some really, really cool stuff. Like, this is kind of an idea of what we're looking at. So she trains with me a lot. She stays in good shape all year, and that's my sweet girl right there at the top of the mountain. We made it up top of the world, but we go off trail and stuff like that. So her and I have to both be in really, really good shape to go off trail and take alternate routes. And she does do some class 3. You guys are going to be freaked out about this, but she does do some class 3. She learned to climb by jumping from rock place to rock place, and she actually uses her paws to pull up. It's very impressive. So what'll happen is when her and I go off trail, if we know there's like a class 3, class 2, like mix area that her and I can do, what she'll do is she'll kind of let me go for a little bit, and then she'll kind of find a way to get to me that suits her. So, and a lot of times too, it's very instinctive for dogs. They want to get up on the ridge line. They want to get in the ridge line, are these things, these spines of these mountains back here. So the ridge lines, the dogs have just a natural tendency to do that kind of stuff. And the ridge lines for them are also, there's usually ledges on ridge lines. You can see it. There's also dense rock on ridge lines too. So she's a very accomplished dog. Her and I have gone out to Colorado several times, and I mean, like, we do like the dumbest stuff. And like the rivers, this is like what I'm talking about. Like, we literally go through rivers and we hike through them because it is so good. So good for the dogs. And yeah, so I mean, like, that's what keeps me busy. And sorry, I didn't mean for her to interrupt, but she's just, both dogs need to hang out with me. So yeah, I mean, that's what I do outside of doing this stuff. I spend a lot of time training. Roaring Wookie says, I have some trails for you if you ever make it up here to the last frontier. Dude, I got to get to Alaska. My wife knows. So I do dumb stuff. I do like way dumb off-trail stupid shit. Like way dumb stuff. And I told my wife Alaska is where I want to go. The problem I have with Alaska is I want to go on the tail end when the weather just starts to turn. I really want to go in that transition period because I want to go when the bugs get knocked down, and then where it's not as populated on the trails, and like hopefully right before snow or right when the snow starts at around like that 14,000 foot mark. Because that's my whole thing. Like I'm a big person for 14ers. And for those of you that don't know, 14ers are 14,000 foot mountains. So that's what my sweet girl and I do. Hey, you guys be nice. Matthew Withrow says, good question. I'm curious as to how long and how far off the bottom is. We're taking another 10 to 20%. Are we there now? We're nowhere near the bottom, in my opinion. And I believe this has to do with the Fed telling us that inflation. Hey, guys, doggies, stop. Go, get out. Go. Yeah, go. No, go. You guys, come on. Sorry, they're very needy. But no, the Fed is telling us that we've got a couple years of pain. In fact, they said this, right? Just throwing it out there. The Fed, when they did their meeting, said that they are not lowering rates in 2023. That means in 2023, you're going to have rates going up, and up, which means money's more expensive, harder to come by. And if they're not raising rates, they're at a pause stance. So you see what I mean? You have to be very, very careful. Fernando Lopez says, do you document your adventures? I do. I do document them. I do a lot of photographing of where I go. And I do a lot of just really, I just like a lot of adventure stuff. I really try to get out in the middle of nowhere and just do crazy things and see crazy places. And for those of you that don't know, I am retired. I was a corporate guy for a while, and so I'm out of that game. But I just like to go to places that make me feel good. I like to go to places that make me feel alive. And so right now, like, my biggest thing is I train a lot so I can do more and more trips like this. I train with my DOG because her and I need to go do, stuff like this. And it's like kids. See, look, there's even my doggie right there. She's in the car. Look at her, see? So I take her with, and we go to all these cool places out there, and it's a blast. Nucci says, what kind of dogs you got? I got 2 shepherds right now. I've got an all-white female shepherd, and then I've got a German shepherd Anatolian mix, a black female. And so, yeah, I mean, like, I do tons of cool stuff like this with the dogs, but yeah, I do. I document my adventures. I just don't always release it just because, I don't know, man. Like, I don't know. Like, I have a channel where I have some of my hiking stuff on there, but I just don't, I don't know, like sometimes I feel like my adventures are my personal experience, you know, like when Leia and I did the trip up to the top, and her and I did, you know, the stupid stuff here. Like when we did this, it was a very like unique personal thing. It was a very close thing. Like I'm very close to my dogs, and like it means a lot for me. Like I lost my dog, my big dog, my big shepherd. For those of you that remember, I had a really, really big shepherd, traditional male color. I lost him when actually I was hiking my previous trip in Colorado with my son. So what happened is like dogs have always played a big part in my life, and my wife had to put him down while I was in Colorado the last time. That's why it was so important for her and I to go to Colorado this time, because when my son and I went the last time, which was a total like insane trip, when we went last time, that's when they had to put down my big dog. So, but yeah, I mean, I love doing this kind of stuff. It's a different kind of hiking, different kind of life. When my son and I were out last, I've got pictures of it where you could see the tracks from the mountain lions in here, and big cats, man, big cats. So, and Trick, you're gonna love this. Trick says you can't beat getting as high as you can. Here's the thing, Trick. I can tell you this. There are a ton of people out there that get baked and hike. There are a ton, and they do it for a whole bunch of reasons. Everything from like muscle relaxers to it helps them de-stress and stuff like that. You would be very surprised, Trick. Very surprised. Sniff says, I'm looking for a car with a washout interior like a Honda Element. Dude, they're crazy. I mean, like, dogs, that's the problem with dogs, dog hair. My Subaru's got dog hair all over it. It's so crazy. But yeah, if you guys got questions, man, tonight's the night to chill out, hang out, ask those questions. I'm down to answer anything, whether it's crypto related, life related. And also, please too, do me a favor. Let me know how you are feeling about things. I don't want this just to be about me. I want to make sure that I understand what the viewer is feeling too. Because for the people that are watching the live stream right now, like that's a commitment. That's awesome. So I want to know the people that like are committed, that are watching the channel, like please, like how are you guys doing? How are you feeling during all this? Matthew Withrow says, do you think it's FUD with talks of collapsing the system and ushering a new financial system? Okay, Matthew, I'm glad you asked that. I think it's FUD. Here's why. You wouldn't want to live through that. Could you imagine how you would feel knowing if the whole financial system collapsed? I mean, like, what would happen to everyone's jobs? What would happen to food? We can't even keep our country in line when it comes to, like, helping people with hurricanes. 2-3 weeks later, we're still trying to figure out where to put power generators. Like, so if we were to have a total economic collapse, you would go back to the bartering system. The majority of people have nothing to barter with. What they own is paper, right? Most of the majority of people are in debt, so they don't have any owning. So when a financial collapse happens, you have to trade to live. Whether it's like trade, like what you could do job or profession-wise, you know, barter that way or barter with your goods. So no, I don't think you're going to see a financial collapse happen. There's too many economies right now. Too many economies right now at this time that are too interwoven. Will you see depression and suppression markets? Hell yeah. Because you saw insane growth over the last couple years. Okay, if we hadn't gone through the pandemic, we wouldn't have had the boom of crypto. We wouldn't have had the boom in the stock market. We wouldn't have had the boom in global markets across the world. So part of what we're going through right now is digesting all this fake money that was put in the system. John Niner, John Niner, love it, says, how's the hoopty? Where is it listed? The Chrysler, at least I think that's what it is. Yes, I'm not listing it yet. I'm enjoying it. Be nice to me. I'm enjoying it. So the Chrysler, I just put a brand new caliper on the front passenger side, and I've put 60 miles on it since putting on. I had to rebuild the brakes in the front because they were frozen because it was sitting for so long. I've been putting miles on it. I've put over 60 miles on it since I've done the brakes. I even picked my son up at school and he hates it. I do. The best part is, so I pick up my son and his friend at school every day. I'm like, you know, like, I'm not the carpool mom. I actually go to like the back of the building, like where the sports kids go to play. And I like pretend like I'm a sports kid and my son meets me out there so we don't have to wait in line, just throwing it out there. Okay, I'm a bad parent, maybe, you know, but here we go. But think about this. So I go there and I pick up my son and I pick up my son's friend. And every time they got to walk out and they got to get in the G-Ride with the plush, you know, red seats. Ooh, yeah, I've always got a little bit of music playing, usually a little bit of Dre. When I'm in that car, I feel like Dre. So my son hates it, especially now because I'm cleaning it up. I actually started wire brushing the wheels on it, too. So I started brushing the wire wheels and getting her all clean. So my son hates it. It's freaking hilarious. Matthew Withrow says, love your work, keep it up, gotta run, peace out to you, and all the good luck during this period. Diamond hands. Thank you, Matthew, for chiming in and hanging out with us. Robert Melvin says, I was just talking about the barter system with a friend earlier tonight. You know, Robert, that was, my brother talks about that a lot. My brother's ex-military, and he served overseas. And he refers to the barter system a lot, too, because of the collapse he's seen in a lot of these tribal villages when he was overseas. And my brother, hey, sweetheart, my brother talks all the time about the barter system because those people didn't have money. Like, money wasn't there. You either could do something or you had something to trade. And a lot of times, the barter system is what got those people through. But then that's also where you saw slavery because they were selling kids and all sorts of weird shit, right? But anyways, barter system, yeah. If you had a financial collapse, you would have to rely on the barter system. And the problem is, what do most people have? You know, I mean, seriously, what do most people have? They don't. Most people are in debt. Most people live paycheck to paycheck. So what they have is very minimal. And in a barter system, you're crushed. Then you end up working for free. You end up working for food. Kind of like the old mining camps. They had these old mining camps, and they gave them mining coins, all right? They were like this. They were like this big. They were mining coins. And you would get paid in mining coins. But the whole thing was you only could use it at the mining store. That's kind of like you have to be very careful of that because that's where we're at in society. That's a more applicable way of seeing how it would work in a financial collapse than a barter system. If that's the case, you basically have slaved people, indentured slave people. I mean, that's just what it is. Back to the comments. Roaring Wookie, 1970 Evergreen LTD with the big block. Oh, jeez, look at you, man. The Chrysler is awesome, dude. I got a brand new badge too for the well, not brand new, but what do you call it? New old stock, right? I got a new old stock badge that says Fifth Avenue because the one I had on that car was cracked, so I had to get a new one. So I'm excited to put that on, and I got a brand new headliner material. I'm going to redo the headliner as well as the A, B, and C pillars so that Homegirl looks really good, and then I'm going to list it. That's rocking, dude. Robert Melvin says you could trade your skills with others that you don't have. No, it's true, man. It's totally true. Roaring Wookie says I'm out. Klaus Life calls. Take care, my safe friend. Thank you very much, Roaring Wookie. And hey, be cool up there in Alaska. You got to keep bugging me about that. You got to keep bugging me about Alaska. But yeah, so right now we're just chilling out, guys. We're chilling out. We're hanging out. I'm answering your questions. I want to know how you're doing. You guys are the viewers that are hanging out on a Friday, putting time in during a live stream, right? I mean, we've got the heat map up on the screen, which I know is depressing. I get it. But yeah, now's the time for you guys to chime in, ask questions, whatever you want about life, crypto, anything you want, ask questions, and I'll read it. Let's get to some of these comments here. Oliver Reese says, hey, Klaus, what's up, Oliver? How are you? Decline Management says the company store. Trick says we can talk about ghosts next Friday night. Why are we going to talk about ghosts next Friday night? Why can't we talk about ghosts this Friday night, dude? We're chilling out right now. I know I've got a few of you out there that, I mean, I think we've already decided that this stream is probably demonetized. I do know that we do have a few of you out there that are microdosing, so if the lights are a bother, just let me know and I could change colors. Just let me know. I'm a very courteous host. Jorge Lozano, what's up? Jorge says, do you think the best time to buy would be when the Fed actually starts cutting rates? Okay. The thing is, if you wait for the Fed to cut rates, you're probably going to be too late. And that's just my, and here's why. Because, okay, so the Fed, hold on, let me get my Fed timeline up here real quick for you guys. Here's the deal with the Fed, okay? And the Fed rates have to tie into inflation, all right? And yellow represents the goal, okay? So the deal is this. The Fed said in 2023, they're not going to cut rates at all. Now, they didn't say they're not going to go sideways, but no rate cuts at all. Right now, we still have to get to 2.0 as a target. Jerome Powell and the Fed were like, yo, dude, things are bad. Like, things are really, really bad. Like these numbers that we're seeing with CPI is horrible. Our average is still 6.0. That's a mess. That is a mess. So what you're looking at is this. You're looking at 2023 definitely being a world of pain. The problem is, though, is 2024, if things don't tighten up, that's going to be a slow year as well. So there's going to be a time where the Fed is going to be raising rates, and the time where they pause, and then the time where they start lowering. My personal thing is I'm holding my money out when I go from that pause to that quarter up. So when I go to the quarter up to here, that's kind of where I'm going to start timing my plane. I might take a little bit of a hit as the pause maybe stalls markets, but for me, I think my personal level, that's when I would do it. For me, that's my plan. Right now, there's no sense. If the Fed's telling me that there's no way they're going to change rates in 2023, I don't see where capital is going to come from. I just don't. Plus, I've brought like decent bags packed. Like, so for me, like I can spread the wealth a little bit. You know what I mean? I don't have to keep pounding it in. New Anomaly chimes in, and thank you, New Anomaly. I appreciate it. Said, you mentioned leaving crypto for an immediate investment flip. What investment are you planning on tackling now? Dude, I'm going to buy distressed assets. Dude, I'm going to load up in the car market. I might even think about buying a rental home. Dude, hey, doggies, would you stop? And the reason why is because rental right now in my area is going up, up, and up. And if I can avoid the interest rates by paying cash, then that would allow me then to avoid the percentage gap that the market's in, buy a distressed home that's wedged, right, way low price-wise, put some money into it, put some work into it. I am retired. I can do that stuff. I do have time. I could put money into a rental, or I could put it into a flip. I could put it into a rental and get cash flow back like that, right? Easily make high cash flow. A lot of other people are doing that right now. You can, where most people right now, when they want to buy homes that are done. Like done. Like, you know what I mean? Like done. They want move-in ready. So you could get distressed homes for a good value. Just turn them and burn them. If you can buy them, if you don't have to worry about not sitting on the capital, you know, and if you could tie in, I mean, and start paying for stuff where even if your loan is minimal compared to what the rent would be that you collect, so you have a huge positive cash inflow, dude, that's awesome. Ride that out for how many years? Private equity groups are going to keep home prices propped for a long time. Where I live in the rural area, we have a lot of people since the Rona have been leaving cities, moving rurally. This has been happening all over the United States. South Dakota is getting more popular. Wyoming, Montana. You guys know about all the California people leaving those. It's what's happening. So yeah, that answers that question right there. Oh. Trick says, my sister's house was haunted. She got some mediums in to sort it out. Holy shit. Gave her a bill for $27.50. She couldn't pay, so the house was repossessed. Nice. Very well done, Trick. That was a good one. I like that one. Thank you very much. Adroba says housing hasn't cooled yet. No. And that's the whole idea. Housing is not cooled yet. Rental market. Okay. Rental works very differently. And let's do a quick cheers. We'll talk about rental with housing. And damn it, Trick, I saw your joke and I read it. But Adroba says the housing hasn't cooled yet. No, and it hasn't. And housing isn't going to cool the way you think. Housing, okay, before Rona, housing was kind of trudging along very nicely. After Rona, or during Rona, right, we had that first initial dip and then it just went crazy, okay? Now, what we're saying now that things are slowing down, it's because it's not crazy, it's just kind of crazy. But now when you look at the original path was way down here. So we're still in a kind of crazy mode compared to what we were in the past. Private equity groups know that they have cash. They could buy these places, and they can buy these places without having to get loans, which means they can circumvent all the stuff that the Fed is doing. That's my point, guys. So the whole idea is there's this thing. It says don't fight the Fed. Do you want to know how you fight the Fed? Cash. Cash is king, man. Same thing with a car. Okay, guys, let's talk cars. Let's talk real stuff that hits people. Because not everyone's buying homes and shit like that. But everyone's buying cars. Cars, same thing. And you doggies are being so cute. Cars are the same thing. Because of interest rates, because of the Fed jacking it up, because the Fed said, hey, guess what? We're going to be jacking it up all 2023. Cars, interest rates for cars are just going to go up, 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 and up. You're going to have new car buyers paying 10, 12% again. That's going to happen here real easily. And so the problem you have is you have all these people paying money into interest when that money goes into interest, it's not going into other usable things. Food, groceries, investments, stuff like that. So car market, same thing, man. Interest rates are going to destroy these people. So even if cars go down in price-wise, because interest rates are going up so high, the net effect to the consumer is going to be more money. It's going to cost the consumer more. Same with homes, man. Homes, let homes go down 10%. Fuck, who cares? Let them go down 10%. As interest rates blow through the roof and go up yet another year, interest is going to kill people in the long run. Losing $30,000 on a home because the market dipped is nothing compared to consumers now paying 400 to 550 basis points more on a loan over 30 years. That's That's, holy crap, that's 2-3 times the amount, at least 4 times the amount. No, oh my God, it's almost double. Holy, it's way over there. It's crazy, everyone. So yeah, the interest rates are just really going to hamper people. It's really going to hamper people. What's up, War Galley? I see you in the comments. How are you doing? War Galley says, hey, I forgot the stream was going to go on tonight till now. No, dude, totally cool. We're just hanging out, just drinking a little bit of wine, but, you know, hanging out. Aglav says, I don't know if you are a genius, but I do know you are smart and very diligent. Greetings from Belgium. Thank you for your work. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I grind, and I've worked like my whole life. I've worked like my whole life in the same industry, and I've dealt with stuff like this. So for me, this is all like, I'm used to this. This is like my second, third go around. You know what I'm saying? Like I've been through the pain for quite a bit. But yeah, any other questions you guys got? Now is your time. Vlad says, true, in Europe, the second market cars are popping for the last year. Yeah, that's the other problem. Ooh, Decline Management. Thank you, Decline. I got a story. Decline, thank you so much. Decline says this. In the 70s, home mortgage interest rates were 18+%. Yes, okay. So my dad bought his business when in the 70s, and he got a loan from his mom, okay? He got a loan from his mom for 14%. And I remember my dad telling me this story because, like, I was like, holy shit, 14%. That blew my mind. I was like, when is that ever going to happen in my life? But his loan from his mom was 14% because the banks were like 17, 18 plus to buy a business. How could he buy a business and operate it with a margin like that being destroyed by interest rates? So again, it's cash is king. If you've got cash, you are going to win. How do you get cash now? Side hustle. You're not going to get cash in a market that the Fed says is going to be painful for 2 more years, man. Like, I don't see how it's possible. I really don't. I mean, like, you've got the Fed telling us that money's not going to be there. You've got government agencies sure as hell aren't regulating crypto. And we know once we get regs in, then institutional money will feel better, especially if those regs allow for insurance, right? Like a similar to FDIC insurance, but with crypto. Then institutional money would gladly get in. But you don't see the governments doing that. You don't see this side or that side doing it, man. So it's rough, dude. It's rough. Trick says $7,000 for a Land Rover Freelander 2, 10 years old. I mean, there's plenty of places to make money. Okay, so the G-Ride. You guys, the G-Ride story. So how I got my car. I literally saw this dude at a gas station randomly ask him if I could buy his car like that. Like, literally just walked up to a stranger and asked him if I could buy his car. Because it's one of my personal favorites. But anyways, like, you have to be there at the right place, the right time, with the opportunities, and you have to have cash. As much as people are like, oh, but your cash is losing on the sidelines. It might be losing its purchasing power, but you have purchasing power. And the whole thing is when people say cash purchasing power is going down, walk up to any home right now on the market in a big city. And if you have cash, you're getting that home cheaper than what listing is. It's just how the market is right now. What are you doing, weirdo? Cash is king, man. Cash rules. Jimbo Tango in the house. What's up, Jimbo Tango? How are you, sir? By the way, it's red wine tonight, Jimbo, just to let you know. It's red wine. I still have to train later. I've got about 4,000 steps left of training to do, so I've got one more cardio session. And we got Robert Melvin saying, give this man a like. Yeah, I would appreciate it if you want to hit the like button. I like this. We're chilling out tonight. I know we've kind of gone off the rails a few times, but I wanted this stream to be about you guys and to be about the questions that you have. I spend a lot of time, like giving my opinions on stuff. So, I mean, seriously, if you've got questions about anything, I will answer it. No worries at all. But I also want to know what you guys are thinking. Fernando Lopez says, do you know anything on the new Georgia Guidestones? I hadn't even heard that there was new Georgia Guidestones. Oh my God, I hadn't, let me, let's see, Georgia Guidestones. Let me see. Oh, see, I didn't know that there was anything. But anyways, the Georgia Guidestones are really, really close to me. And I actually did a drone video of the Georgia Guidestones. And they blew them up for a few months, man. Oh, it was horrible. Oh, it was horrible. It was really, really bad. Robert Melvin chimes in for those of you. For those of you in the fungus, you're not seeing things. There are dogs in the room. Yeah, there are. One of them, she's sitting right by one of my LED lights. I think it's because the light is warm. I think she's soaking up the heat on there. Jimbo Tango says, unfortunately, I'm working late, no alcohol. That's all right, dude. That's totally all right. We can still have fun, answer questions, and hang out. You do not need to drink to hang out. I'm just telling everyone right now, this is my first drink I've had like all week. Yeah, oh God, yeah, all week. And I've already done 3 sessions of cardio and 1 lifting session today. So if you haven't earned a drink with that, then I don't know what's earned you a drink. Doggy, stop. Vlad says cash is king because you can avoid taxes to a certain extent. Yes. And Vlad, the cool thing about that too is not only can you avoid taxes, but you can avoid paper trails with cash. Now, I'm not saying that I believe in, nefarious activities, but if you were to do nefarious activities, cash is king, baby. Cash is king. Jimbo Tango says, where were you the night the stones blew up? You know, that's a good question. That happened like 4 something in the morning. I'll plead the 5th on where I was that night. How about that? Oh, there's an answer for you. Oliver Reese says, what do you think is the cause of the big drop in price today? A lot of it has to do with Binance. You got these auditing agencies pulling out. You've got more people dissecting the day after, 2 days after what happened with the FUD, with the Fed. You got a lot of market negativity. You got reports coming out of low usage. You got low volume. I mean, like, oh, I didn't mean to draw that. Yeah. But you got low volume right here. Look at this. I mean, look at the volume that you're seeing here with XLM versus what you saw just a few months ago. Way, way less, man. Way, way less. Fact in the middleman, too. Yeah, no, I mean, straight up, dude. Cash is king, man. Cash is king. And I think that's what people are realizing right now. And that's why, like, I really wanted to have this stream tonight. And the reason I wanted to have this stream was to tell everyone out there, like, there's other ways to, like, beat the market, man. There's other ways to hustle. There's other ways to make cash. There's other ways to get through life. Because if the big money out there is telling you, hey, we're pumping the brakes on cash flow for the next couple years, cash flow companies do bad during recessions. Now you got to find recession-proof stuff. Oh, yeah, we're talking about companies that deal with the sinful pleasures, because the sinful pleasures always do good during a recession. See, this is where you see the rotation of money, and this is normal, you know? This is totally normal. Doggies, what the hell are you doing? Adroba says, with this low volume, is there much more room for a huge drop? Yeah, totally. I mean, like, there's definitely a huge concern for a drop. I did a video earlier about XLM, and that's what I wanted to show you. Look at this, okay? Let's go to the 5-day. I think this was articulated better on the 5-day. Okay, here's the 5-day. I want you to look at these movements right here. When you see these volume spikes here on these moves, there's nothing happening in between. Like, there is nothing happening in between. I mean, the volume is like, oh my God, nil. And then when you zoom out, right, when you look at this period to see that these dips are on low volume, when you zoom out, you're like, oh my God, this volume is nothing even compared to what we had in October. And October was painful. I mean, so it's, you know what I'm saying? You're seeing it right now. New Anomaly Productions says, what % of your portfolio are in coins? That's a good question. I have to recalculate because obviously crypto is down quite a bit. I would say that the majority of my money, though, is not in crypto. You got to think the majority of my money is real estate. I am heavy into gold and precious metals. And I'm big into collectibles, too. Very big into collectibles. That being said, I do have a considerable amount in crypto, but in terms of percentage, it's... Man, I'll have to calculate that out, but I do have other things that I'm into. You got to think I've been investing for like 20 plus years. You know, so like I've been doing this for a while. So for me, like crypto has been big on the scene recently. Now I will tell you this, proportionately speaking, I've put more money into crypto than in the last about 3-ish years than I have in other things. Proportionately, I put more in crypto than I have in stocks, more than in real estate, more than in cars, more than in collectibles. I can definitely tell you that because the hit was there, the worth was there, the worth was totally there. Now I just got to ride it out until the next run. Let's see. Fernando says, what I meant to say is if you had any updates about Georgia Guidestones, what will happen to the site? No, the whole Georgia Guidestones thing, man, just like went totally quiet. Totally quiet, guys. The Guidestones thing, okay. The weirdest thing about Guidestones was they tore that thing down in less than 2 days. So I don't know. I haven't heard a thing about the Georgia Guidestones, and it kind of bugs me a little bit because once that story was out of the news cycle, that was it. It never got revamped. And it's really close to me. Like, it is super, super close to me. Like, for me, that's local news. Like, that was all over local news by me. So if we were to hear anything locally, trust me, I'd be one of the first ones to know. I have not heard anything about it. Oliver Reese says, I bought a 200-year-old property with cash just hoping to get planning permission to convert into flats. Then I could rent them out. I hope it actually goes successfully. We should know early to mid-year. Good for you, Oliver. And that's my point to everyone out there is investors right now. It's not that they're looking at crypto and it sucks. What they're looking at is that, hey, if the Fed is going to be doing this, we can go somewhere else. We can make money somewhere else. Barrel Text, do you think Litecoin can compete with Bitcoin? Bitcoin is just too much of a industry around it. It's just true. Bitcoin is just it's its own industry. You got the miners. You got the people that use Bitcoin as a commodity, a true commodity, like Sailor, Elon Musk. They all use Bitcoin as a commodity. So I don't think it compete. What I mean by compete is price per unit. In utility, yeah, I think Litecoin can totally destroy Bitcoin in utility. But price-wise, when I look at it, I don't see it replacing Bitcoin. Bitcoin is OG nefarious activities, man. Bitcoin is OG decentralized. It is really hard to knock OG decentralized off the block. And it's true, Litecoin is faster and cheaper, but the whole thing is they don't have their own ecosystem the same way. Okay, that was random. Holy shit. And it's true, Bitcoin is just way too big. Let me do a quick drink here. Sorry, my doggies are acting all weird playing with each other. Cheers to everyone out there. Oliver Reese says, my main reason is I was worried with inflation that the money in the bank would be worth less and less, so I figured it was safer in bricks and mortar even without permission. Yeah, and it's people are this, okay? Crypto is risky, extremely risky. In the grand scheme of things, when you look at all the things that you can invest your money in, you know what I mean? Crypto is extremely risky. We don't know who a bunch of these developers are. They're anonymous. We don't have regs. We don't have governments coming in with FDIC insurance. I mean, it sucks. So when you look at the different mechanisms out there, if you want to invest in real estate, commercial real estate, stuff like that, and cheers to you too, Robert Melvin. But when you look at it, there's a lot of places you can put money in. People buying multi-family, multi-unit properties and renting them out are making a killing. If you have cash to avoid paying the high interest rates that are, being jacked up by the Fed, you're going to be able to make good money in real estate, man. You know how many people now, the demand for rent is so high because A, homes are expensive. B, the interest rates for homes are super expensive. And C, a lot of people's credit got jacked up during the Rona when they got behind on bills. There were people that couldn't pay credit cards. There were people that couldn't pay car loans. Not every state was giving forgiveness with stuff. Not every company was giving forgiveness. So you got a lot of people whose credits got jacked these last couple years that have to rent because their credits are too messed up to buy. People's businesses that got closed during the Rona, so they had to sell their home for a loss. I mean, it's all over the place. Let's see. Yeah, Trick, your spelling is not the best, man. But I get what you're saying, Trick. So phonetically, dude, you are good to go. Final Ken chimes in, says, oh, happy days, another shot of Jaeger. Yeah, I'm drinking wine tonight. But like I said, this chat here is for you. What do you want to talk about? What questions do you have for me? Whether it's crypto-related, life-related, anything like that. It is right now 7:30. We're going to keep it going for just a little bit. My voice is just starting to get a little bit roasted right here. And I know my DOGSs down there are wanting to play too. Yeah, I don't know what the hell that one comment right there is. So I won't even read that one. But right now you're seeing massive amounts of pain with BNB. Massive amounts of pain too with ADA. The problem with ADA and the like is this. And it was phonetically. He was typing phonetically. I thought that was the perfect word, man. But the problem with ADA is you got Hodgkinson perpetuating, FUD, perpetuating crap. And what that does, it lowers his credibility. Now, when that lowers his credibility, that affects that chain. There is an effect on that chain. You can't, it'd be like if Danelle Dixon tomorrow was just a dumbass. Like, just, it would hurt XLM. You know, it really would. Sniff's got a question. Klaus, do you believe giants exist? Like San Francisco giants? What kind of giants are you talking about, man? I'm kind of curious about that. Robert Melvin says, take a drink every time Klaus says crypto. Don't do that. You'll be dead. Don't do that. Unless it's water. So, Robert Melvin, let's not mess people up tonight. No, don't drink every time I say crypto. So glad we have no clue who Satoshi is. Okay, that's the other reason, right? The reason why Bitcoin is getting deemed a commodity more than the other ones out there has to do with its decentralization more than anything. Anyone can mine Bitcoin, but not everyone can release XLM. Not everyone can release XRP. So you could see the problem. The problem there being that decentralization is going to be tied very heavily to commodity. Just like gold. Anyone can mine gold, right? I mean, if you want to, you can go out to Colorado with me and we could go pan some rivers, you know? Do I believe in biblical giants? Okay. I don't like touching religious stuff because, I mean, everyone's got like their own personal belief. And a lot of it is based upon how you were raised. And that's in a global sense too, right? Do I believe in giants and all that stuff, biblical giants? I believe that there were different types of people out there and different entities. And when you look at some of the stuff, I don't know if I would call them giants, but there were definitely different humanoids out there that have gone extinct. Think of the, I'm just trying to think what the technical name is, where they've got the elongated skulls and all that kind of stuff. That itself has been, it's gone, right? It's an extinct trait. There's the ones where the jaws were like really extended and kind of low brow. And again, I can't think of what the names are. But again, they were huge people, but again, extinct. So I think it's totally possible. I mean, I think it's totally possible. But I think what you're seeing is, I don't know if I would call it giants. I just think there's anomalies. And I think part of the problem is Sniff, and I'm not, you guys are going to see me go on the tangent. I think part of the problem is there's a lot of traits that we're losing, Sniff. There's a lot of traditions that we're losing. There's things that are being lost, okay? And I'm a traditionalist, okay? I'm very much a traditionalist. And I think right now that society is losing those things. So just as you lose those traditions, I believe you lose certain parts of those genetic lines, if that makes sense. Was that a really good one? Was that like a really good one? Like, hopefully you got that answer, Sniff. That was good. What's up with everyone? How is everyone doing tonight? If you got any questions, comments, anything like that, you are willing to hop on in and ask them. We are just here hanging out, talking crypto, talking usage. We're also talking about markets, liquidity. What are some of the issues we are concerned with? Also, here's one for you. Colorado residents, 6 tax payments out of 1.37 million payments in taxes. Only 6 of them were made in crypto. So in here, we've got a problem, right? We've got a product with no users. If you have a product with no users, what happens to that product? It goes away. So I think what we have to be really, really careful with is making sure that when we're developing in crypto, that the products we're developing have an audience that wants to participate, an audience that wants to use, not speculate, okay? I'm not talking about speculate. I'm talking about using that product. Crypto is still going to function like any other business out there. It's going to be supply and it's going to be demand. Here, you saw a project, right? You could make your tax payments with crypto. There was obviously no demand. Only 6 people made payments. I think that's a big thing that we're going to have to work through. We're definitely going to have to work through stuff. Sniff says, there's a theory that mountains are actually fossilized trees. Here's what I can tell you. I have climbed some extremely high mountains, like very, very high mountains, and I've gone way up there in elevation many times in my life. Here's something I'm gonna see if here's a picture. This rock here was when I was near the top. This one was like up at like 13,800 feet. I don't think that's trees. I think these are high pressured events. All right, and to give you guys an idea, that's a rock when I was climbing. You can actually see the crystals forming in there from the pressure. And no, I'm not talking in foreign tongues. Trick is just actually really jacked up on this stream. So yeah, when it comes to, are mountains made out of trees? No. I don't believe that. I've climbed many mountains myself. They are not made out of trees. But right now, we are talking crypto. We're talking anything that you guys want. If there's any questions you have. And as always, cheers. We are drinking red wine tonight. So I'm going to finish this glass off and pour myself a new one. So cheers to everyone out there, whether you were drinking, having water. All right. In Ninja Baseball Batman. Ooh, I like this. Ninja Baseball Batman says giant giants and giant trees aren't supported by our Earth's gravity. Ninja Baseball, you have to add too that our oxygen levels are also not supportive of that hyper-sized growth that we used to have in the past. Lower oxygen levels are coordinated with lower-sized organisms. So don't forget your oxygen levels. Sioban Airchick says, Klaus, what is your gut feeling XRP will bottom out at? Man, here's the problem with XRP. XRP is a little bit different than the rest of crypto. The reason why has to do with the case. You can't put a prediction on XRP because the case can just swing it one way or the other. It's not like when you look at other cryptos or like a broad market thing. So let's talk about this. God, see, and that's where I'm stuck here. And here's the problem. Is let's pretend XRP wasn't involved in the case, and they're XRP but without the case, all right? I would look at, if the market keeps doing, you're going to break 29. I really do. I think you can easily, we got lots of pain to come. We got months of pain to come. Hell, the Fed told us we got a year to come. So, I mean, for me, I think that's a big, big issue. All right, I think because of the Fed, because of what they're talking about economic support-wise right here, I think that's a big, big issue. And thank you to Doge Lumens for joining as a super supporter of the channel. Greatly appreciated. But like I said, the Fed is telling us, hey, for 2 years, man, for 2 years, you guys, the Fed is telling us things are going to be rough. So when we look at 2 years, we've got 2 years more where, hey, we might not even get any regs from our government. Every bill that's in Congress right now is dead. It's dead because all of these people now, the new session of Congress is starting in 2 weeks. So with the new session of Congress starting in 2 weeks, you're going to have to start all over with legislation for crypto. That means longer pain, longer pain. I mean, we've got a lot of problems here. We've got a lot of problems. Final Ken says, Klaus, you ever try polyamory? I'm having some good and some terrible experiences thus far. All right. I've had some fun back in my day. I'm a married man now. Here's how I put it now. All right, Final Kens, I'll give you my advice. As a man who's been married for a while, one wife, one woman, one headache is enough for me. Holy crap. I love my wife to death, but even my wife, and I say it, she's like, how the hell can people get into multiple people? She's like, I can't even stand you most of the time. So for me, no, I'm not into that because honestly, like one person is enough. Having my focus on one person, that's where I believe it belongs. The other thing is too, is like, I think there'd be a lot of jealousy involved or some kick it to the curb action. I don't know, man. You let me know how it goes on. Doge Lumen chiming in saying community first. Much appreciated, Doge Lumens, for that. Yes, definitely community first. We did talk about ecosystem earlier, everyone. I did a video actually about Stellar and ecosystem and how the ramps that are used with MoneyGram are huge. The ramps are where the building is going to happen. Okay. All right, look at this map. Look at the heat map. And thank you, Trick, for joining. Thank you, Doge Lumen, for helping us as well on the channel. It is greatly appreciated. But think of the heat map. I want you to think of utility, okay? When we scroll over this, all right? When we scroll all over this, a lot of these don't have utility. Who of these companies here have rails? Who? I mean, I'm being serious about this. Like, when I start zooming into all these stuff, who of all of these cryptos out here, and I can keep going crazier and deeper, you guys know how this works. Who of these companies has the rails? And that's, seriously, you can't get crypto without cash. You can't get crypto without cash. You can't just like walk in and like just slap it on the table. No, you have to give people cash and then they give you crypto. MoneyGram is the rails, cash to crypto, crypto to cash. Because of the partnership with MoneyGram and USDC, you're seeing other people, other organizations want to utilize that. I think that's extremely important. I think it's very, very important. Those rails are where, like, use case where the rubber meets the road. Okay. Solana phone. All right. Solana phone. All right. Solana phone. Just think about that. Okay. That's another one. You developed a product. Were there enough users that wanted to use it? Okay. MoneyGram, right? The idea of moving money. There's hundreds of millions of users all around the world. And thank you, Doge Lumens. I do appreciate it. And Doge Lumens out to support the Stellar family. We have to give a round of applause for that. So thank you, Doge Lumens. I do appreciate it. But I think that's the thing. And I think that's where I feel better about XLM. I feel better about Stellar. I feel better about XRP. I feel better about Ripple. Because there's the prime use case of their items are to move money. For XLM, it's to be the ticket of the ecosystem. Right? That's the gas you pay to use the ecosystem, to be on the chain. The thing that's important about this, though, is when we look at the broader market, there isn't utility here. There's not rails here. I mean, I'm just being real here with everyone. How many of you out there are nervous about Tether? Okay? Think of all the crypto tied into Tether. Think of the same idea with USDC. USDC has proven their reserves. They were doing it like day after day after day. Remember when things were really bad? They were doing like snapshots like every day. It was crazy every week. They were coming out saying, this is what we got. This is what we got in short-term liquidities. This is what we got in short-term securities, blah, blah, blah. Like all that. They were totally open. USDC was open. Stellar uses USDC. MoneyGram uses USDC. Vibrant wallet action. Like that's... There's usage, there's use case. So when it comes to stuff out there, you can see the differences between the Tether lifestyle and the USDC lifestyle. But you can also see that the majority of these cryptos out here, and that's why I brought up this story right here, only 2% of cryptocurrencies have healthy liquidity, finds a study. The reason that's a problem is because we're going to flush the bad actors out. And we talked about that earlier, right? We talked about all these different bad actors. All of them, right? They all detract. They all detract from the money. They all become. And now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that this is the win-all, this is the win-all, nothing like that. But the issue is the money that's going to be left in the next run. All right? Once the valve starts opening up. Once that valve starts opening up, what's going to happen is this, everyone. The money is going to funnel into utility, into use case. Okay. So in the late 90s, there was a company. It was called eToys. Ticker symbol ETYS. There you go for all you old school people. ETYS. eToys. Their business model, they lost money, man. They lost money. Like they seriously, like they spent tons on advertising, and their company business model, to oversimplify it, was fake it until you make it. Maybe if we get through enough Christmas seasons, because this was the start of like the internet getting big and people shopping online. Ahead of their time. They were 10 years ahead of their time. Well, anyways, eToys, they tried to fake it until they make it. Their stock went from like $4 or $5 up to like to 90 something, and then crashed all the way on down, turned into toilet paper. The problem was they weren't making money with their business. We got to get into crypto. We have to start making money with our businesses in crypto. We got to start looking at chains, looking at finances, looking at expenses, man. Start seeing our companies using money correctly. Let me ask you a question. All right, you guys want to get a little deeper? You guys want to get a little deeper? Let's do it. Let's get a little bit deeper. I think we can do this. And again, if you guys got questions, comments, anything like that, please feel free to ask. But you could look on Stellar. Right? We can explore the chain. We can explore the transactions. Right? We can see stuff. We can go on here. We can click on wallets. We can check stuff. We can do all that. All right? We just need to know, are the lumens being used as effectively as possible? When we look at the XLM in circulation right here, all right, is Stellar using that? All right? And here's and remember, Stellar Development Foundation, they use the lumens to pay for operational activities. It's normal. Like, it's super normal. But we have to hold them accountable. Are they using the lumens? 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 Are they using the lumens are they using their lumens to the best of their ability? And I think that's what the serious questions are going to come out of the crypto space. The serious questions that are going to come out of crypto is these companies, these Binances, right? The FTXs, any crypto project out there, are they liquid? Are they liquid with trading supply? And are they liquid with what they have cash on hand to survive the storm? If the Fed is telling us that we've got 2 more years of pain, we have to really start looking at, for 2 more years, are the companies and projects we're invested in, are they able to weather that storm? Do they have enough cash? We talked earlier, cash is king, right, guys? Remember that? We talked about it. Cash is king. Cash is definitely king. Final Ken says, I literally use Tether to short the market on Qcoin. Final Ken's the degen trader. Come on, Final Ken's. I'm just giving you trouble, bud. Just giving you trouble. Sniff says, Klaus, why do you think XLM will outperform XRP? Is it simply because of the lower market cap? The market cap helps, and the market cap helps on a mathematical standpoint, right? I mean, if you have half the circulation, you've got half of the denominator. That's just easy math. That's not an emotional thing. You just have easy math there. The reason I think Stellar will perform better in the long run is I wonder how much of the oomph with XRP has to do with the hype of the case. How many people, when XRP was rolling, right, and when all this was going on, how many people there got into XRP because of the case? How many people exited because of the case? I think the case really hampered things. You know what I mean? Like, I really do. The case hampered things, and not in the way you think. I believe the case hampered things because it's costing them way more money than they thought. I want you to think about that. The case right now. Okay, Brad Garlinghouse said, this was about 2 months ago. Brad Garlinghouse did an interview. And he said the case is going to cost us over $100 million if it ends in 2022. Well, we obviously know the case isn't ending in 2022. So you got to think the SEC isn't going to settle. They're not going to settle. They just won against LBRY. You know what I mean? LBRY. Like straight up, LBRY. And New Anomaly, I'll get into your thing, man. I'll get into it, and I appreciate it, New Anomaly. I do. I definitely do. But I think that's where, when I look at the situation, the problem with XRP is that court case, man. That court case bothers me a lot. The SEC is not going to want to settle because the SEC wants it to be deemed a security. Why? The reason why the reason the SEC wants XRP deemed a security, think they could regulate all of crypto. Do you know what their budget would be? You know how many people they could go after if it's deemed a security? They could go after the rest of the crypto based on XRP court case stuff. XRP case settlement. Ripple case, not settlement, Ripple case precedent. Jesus Christ. I think that's a big concern. So New Anomaly chimes in, dollar for dollar, if you had to pick one, would you go XLM or XRP? What do you believe are realistic highs for them? Okay. Sorry, it was my dog. Realistically, I believe XLM has a higher percentage to the upside. I really do. The reason why I think XLM has a higher percentage to the upside has to do with the rails they have in place. Okay? If you were to use Visa, if you were to use MasterCard, how does it work? You need to have locations to use it, right? I mean, that's just how it works, okay? You can't use your Visa card at an American Express location and vice versa. That's my point. A lot of people that are into XRP are into XRP in a speculative aspect, and that's okay. I mean, I'm one of those people. You're not into XRP to use it. There's a lot of people that are into XLM to use XLM, not just speculate on it. You have a lot of people already using XLM for transactions, right? When we look on here, all right, total payments volume. 1.2 billion payments have been made on the Stellar network. Right there, I got up top of the screen. Overall payments volume, 1.2 billion. So yeah, it's you could see a use case for it. And again, what does business come down to? You have to have a product that people want to use. A product that people want to use. I find more people wanting to use the Stellar Lumens chain and ecosystem. The fact that they have MoneyGram now means that not only can people use the Stellar ecosystem, but they could go cash to crypto, crypto to cash. right? You can on and off ramp money using the Stellar chain, using MoneyGram, using USDC. So what I look at is this. I look at XLM has more of a potential. Why? Not because of the sexy factor. Sexy is good. Don't get me wrong. XRP's got sexy factor. Oh my God. XRP's got the court case, and you guys know how it is. You want what we can't have. And that's one of the big things with the court case. How many people are like, yo, I'm getting into XRP now because when they win the case, I'm going to be mooning. A lot of people are thinking that. I'm a fan of XRP, but the problem is when it comes to uses, look at this. Overall payments volume, 1.2 billion. 1.2 billion, man. That's crazy. That is crazy, dude. That's a lot of payments. So, I mean, I see more upside. Now, when it comes to price, honestly, I've got no idea on price, and here's why. When I look at the price of Bitcoin, Bitcoin's at 16,000, but it's at 16,000. It has a mining community behind it. It has an ecosystem of an economy behind it, all right? XLM Stellar has an ecosystem of users, okay? But there's a mining economy behind Bitcoin. Ethereum now, okay, right? See how that works? Look at the value there. Look at all these other tokens. So when you compare the value to them, I believe they have more utility to them. They don't have the sexy factor. They're the Toyota Prius, right? They're reliable. They get you there. They get you there cheaply, on time, reliable, Toyota Prius, Stellar. Price-wise, you know, you can easily see double digits in price, but that's a way, way long time off. You need money to open back up. When I look at my expectations for Stellar, honestly, I think realistically, when you get out to that 2024 on, you could get a couple dollars. You can. I do believe, and this is just my opinion, is I do believe you can easily stop, sweetie, 100x from here. It's gonna take time. Oh, it's gonna take a long time because it's gonna take more time for adoption of crypto. Again, how is crypto gonna get big if only 6 people in Colorado paid their taxes with crypto out of 1.37 million? All right. Crypto can't just be something we use as a speculative nature. It has to be something we use to to do stuff with, to move money, for real live accounting features, inventory features, RFID stuff tied to the blockchain. There's a lot. There is a lot, man. So, and Illumination says, I always use XLM for my transaction between exchanges. Yeah, and thank you, Illumination. That's a really good example. That's a really, really good example. There's a lot of people that play within the Stellar ecosystem. Okay, here you go. You guys want to see something cool? Everyone rips on NFTs. Everyone rips on NFTs. Holy shit, does everyone rip on NFTs. But look at this. Stellar's NFT marketplace, Lightment, is growing. The overall trend of their sales volume is growing. Think of that ecosystem. Think of the number of sales, unique items. Items sold, 108,000 items sold. I mean, I think that's something that you have to look at. You have to look at the use cases, the people that are using these products, the ecosystems. I'll give you guys some insight. There are some really, really cool people on Twitter that are big NFT people in the Stellar ecosystem Enlightenment. There are some big, I mean, they're fun as hell, and they're really cool people. You should see what they're doing. They're working with Ovariate, right? Helping women, domestic abuse case women. They're doing like contests and stuff. I mean, it's really neat stuff to see. They're doing artwork for each other. So, I mean, there's a difference in this ecosystem, and that's why I like it. That's why I really, really like it. That's why I'm noticing a different class of people that are building on Stellar and using Stellar. Now, what I wish, though, honestly, and here's the hard part, okay? For everyone out there watching, here's the hard part with Stellar. And I'll have a drink and then I'll talk about it. So cheers to everyone. The problem with Stellar is that their success is reliant upon other people. All right? Stellar's success is tied very heavily to MoneyGram. If MoneyGram doesn't advertise their product, right, where you could use the Stellar wallet and like instantly move USDC, if they don't advertise that, how does Stellar do good? It's not Stellar's job at this point to advertise that MoneyGram thing. That's MoneyGram's job to advertise that product to the need, right? Remember we talked about supply and demand, business is all it comes back down to. So Stellar here has to sit by passively sit and wait. They've got to wait. Hey, sweetheart. They got to wait, and my dogs are getting antsy, but they got to wait for MoneyGram's success to happen to spill over into them, into their usage, right? They have to look at Center, right? Center is the one who does USDC. I've got it right here on the screen. They got to go to Center, and they got to be like, hey, the more Center gets our product out there, the more we get notoriety, fame, usage on our network. So the hard part with Stellar, and this is the big difference between Stellar and Ripple, okay, is that Stellar is very dependent upon other people using their product on a back end, on a utility basis. That's a little different out there. Ripple Labs is very much more in control of their own future, right? Their ODL corridor, being a provider like that. So, and they get a lot more notoriety for it too. So it's just something, food for thought, okay? A lot of Stellar success is dependent upon its partnerships. A lot of Stellar success is not dependent upon how Stellar does, but how the partners actually use those Stellar products. Yeah, I know. My dog is a sweetheart. She's covering up the other light right now. They want to play, and they know they're very antsy. Like I could tell they're used to my heavy workouts too. For those that just joined, I train 4 or 5 times a day, and they train with me because she climbs actually with me. She hikes with me. Hey, sweetheart. But stop it, guys. But what happens is they get antsy because they want to constantly work out and exercise too. So they're getting antsy. I could tell. So I have to be careful with hey guys. I have to be careful with the time frame of the stream so that they don't get too antsy. But yeah, so when it comes to like a high end, okay, stop. Hey, be nice. Be nice. No, be nice to each other, sweetheart. But when it comes to like how high this stuff can go, it honestly depends on if we get regulations in. Because that'll bring institutional money in. Because once we get regulations, then you could see a similar FDIC insurance thrown in. That's big. That's very, very big. I don't know. Just kind of interesting. But I don't know. I want everyone out there to also make sure that you focus on growth, you focus on development and use case. Any crypto sub-project you see, what's the use case of the project? Right? If it's something that other people have done, then they're in a highly competitive, highly saturated market. Then the only business mechanism that works then is, are you cheaper than your competitor at your cost because everything else is equalized out because your business plan is the same? Then it just becomes a cost-cutting war, and that's just not healthy. You don't want that. But focus on ecosystem. Focus on like what people are building and how they're building it, and are they profitable doing it, right? I mean, okay, so MoneyGram, uses XLM or Stellar products, right? You got to also get back to it. Like, what is the money being made on this stuff? Is there money to be made? I mean, the fee pool is starting to grow, everyone. The fee pool is finally starting to grow. But the thing is like these fee pools aren't enough generated to disperse any meaningful rewards, right? So again, we have to come back to use case, right? We have to build a product that there's a lot of people that want to use, and that product, right, that partnership has to be profitable. Crypto still has to follow that rule. Another drink here real quick, everyone. Cheers, too, for everyone watching. Final Ken chimes in, my Texas healer literally needs to be worked out for hours per day, but man, dogs are a better investment than Bitcoin. Yeah, I love my dogs. Oh my God, do I love my dogs. They're with me 24/7, and whenever I travel, I do travel with her. Actually, she's a really good travel dog. She definitely keeps me safe. So, but yeah, if you guys got any questions, comments, anything like that, Ray, stop, sweetheart. If you guys got any questions or comments, whether it's about crypto, life, whatever, if there's anything you want to share, please feel free to in the comments. We're going to go just a little bit longer. My throat's starting to roach out, and I still got to, I saw a good comment there, but I still got to train one more time tonight. Frank Liamana says, too early to drink here, but I got a loaded bowl. Cheers. Good for you, Frank. Well done. You will be joining the others in this group that are participating in that, as well as those that are microdosing on the stream. Ty says, hi, hello to you, and hello to everyone out there who's watching. Hopefully you like the stream tonight. A little bit different, right? I mean, we kind of pumped the brakes a little bit. We talked a little bit more. Didn't take things, I don't want to say as seriously, but it's hard, right? It's hard. Siobhan Erichuk, and I'm sorry if I'm saying that wrong. I have a hard to pronounce name too, so I feel for on that one. Let's see. Is it possible to actually buy a physical XRP coin? You can buy like the what do you call them? They're like gag gifts, if that makes sense, because there's no like technical coin, so it's more of like a gag gift than anything. The brand voice says, Klaus, can you ever speak about the Ledger CC? What would you like to talk to me about or what would you like me to talk about in regards to the Ledger? Arnaud says, yes, XLM can go to 4 cents, but do we worry? I mean, seriously, it's going to come to, do you have the cash to weather the storm? Look at the history of XLM. Look at the history of Bitcoin. Look at how many different of attempts of runs there's been. And it keeps coming back, and it keeps coming back. Now, my thinking, okay, here, look at this, all right? You see this move up here in Bitcoin 2018? Oh, can you ever speak about the Ledger credit card? I don't use the Ledger credit card, so that's why I don't speak about it. That's what I'm saying. But yeah, so look at this pump right here in Bitcoin. This is 2017. Goes down. You had not as big of a pump in 2019 and then a big roar. So then do you guys think that we're going to be back to this? Instead of the big pump, we're going to go back to the small roar before we pump hard again? That would be pretty interesting. That would be history repeating itself. Just throwing it out there as an idea. I've seen some people shooting this out saying, hey, we lost a lot of people here. You're going to get a mini pump where we start building up trust again in the crypto Web3 market, and then we rally on the next move. I've seen people throw that one out there. That's the people that are saying that we're going to rally in that 2028, 2030 timeline. If you ever hear people talking about that, that's exactly what they're talking about. What they're talking about is we're going to have a mini bull run after a couple years, and then we're going to go into the next rally. Metalcoin makes replicas. Yeah, that's what it's called, replicas. I couldn't think of what the hell the term is. Yeah, replicas. Christopher Cassidy says, my man Klaus. My man Christopher, thank you for chiming in. Trick's got 2 dogs, Murphy and Luna. My wife put Murphy on Instagram. He has 20,000 followers. What? Holy crap, dude. That's crazy. My wife always bugs me about putting Leia on Instagram or giving her her own channel, especially with all the hiking she does. But I have enough time keeping up with one YouTube channel, man. One YouTube channel. But yeah, right now the market is red. Why? It's got to do with auditors bailing on Binance, Qcoin, all the big ones out there. The auditors don't want to touch crypto right now because the books are so cooked. The market's red because we've got cooked books. Not only do we have cooked books, we've got cooked fans watching, but we've got cooked news from the Fed where they're saying, hey, inflation is going to be rough for a couple years. They also said this, GDP growth is going to be slow. When GDP growth is slow, growth sectors suffer. Tech is a growth sector. That's why your NASDAQ stuff is getting beat real heavy too. Tech is getting heavily beaten down. Tech functions well during growth. The reason why tech functions well during growth is because usually during growth cycles, money is cheaper. All right. When money is cheaper and more plentifully available, what happens is that money can go into riskier investments. Tech is often considered riskier. Siobhan says, Klaus, you're amazing. You can tell you love what you're doing. I do love this. I really do love that. And I like the fans too. Like, I've met some really cool people doing this. Like, I really have. I met some really cool people doing this. And what I like about this too is this is global. So I get people's perspective from all over the world. For me to be better at doing this, for me to be a better content creator, a better person bringing the news, I have to make sure I understand everyone's perspective out there so that when I present stories, I can present them better. I can present them with neutral language tones and so forth, right? I have to watch a lot of slang that I use just so I can get the points across. So honestly, this has taught me to be a way better person in terms of researching, and I love it. I love presenting material. So thank you very much for the compliment, by the way. Preston R says, what do I think about algo? Nothing really. I mean, like, I don't see Algorand as doing anything too special. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean that as saying, like, I lump Algorand in with like a lot of the other ones that are just like it. And I didn't mean to say it in a negative way, so I apologize if I said it, but you've got a group of coins that you could clump together, a group of tokens you could clump together. I group Algorand in there. I believe Algorand has a better chance than ADA. I'll be honest with you there. How about that one? I think ADA and Solana are in deep trouble. I think the more we find out about FTX, you're going to see Solana just bashed. And honestly, as long as venture capital out there is publicly telling people to get away from Solana or from Cardano, Cardano's going to suffer too. Totally crazy. But yeah, I mean, that's what we're talking about right now. I mean, you know, totally excited with the development, with the building that's going on. I'm not happy with the speculators. And that goes into what I said earlier about you have people on the Stellar chain that are building on it, using it. I think that's cool stuff. I don't like the speculators. I don't like the leveraging. I don't like the high interest rate stuff either. Degenerate gambling is cool, you guys. Like, I get it. It's not cool YouTube algorithm that way, okay? So whoever scans my video YouTube-wise, I don't mean it like that. There's a place for degenerate gambling, all right? You could go to the horse track and just throw money on horses, right? You go to a boxing match. You could place prop bets in Vegas all the time. So degenerate gambling's all the way around us. I just think we had too many people that degenerate gambling in crypto with your money, right? The FTXs, the Celsiuses, Luna, Three Arrows, Voyager, Babel. I could go on and on. I mean, and that's rough, all right? And I think it's the speculators. Robert Melvin chimes in. You can always count on Klaus to give you the news you need to hear, even if it hurts. That's why we tune in. And that was my video earlier, Robert. That's why I did that candid video earlier, because I wanted to do a story on the Stellar ecosystem. And as I was doing the story on the Stellar ecosystem, like it bothered me because I kept running into all these articles that were negative. And I'm like, man, crypto and Web3 has so many good things to offer, but there's so many bad actors in the space that it hurts, man. I mean, I think that's a problem. I think that because of the bad actors, it sets us back. I think like the high interest rate stuff, right, is a good fake it till you make it thing. When you see people offering high interest rates, that's a huge warning sign. Nowhere in the world are you getting high interest rates unless you're doing, you know what I mean, degenerate gambling. And that's what we're learning, is that these firms are degenerate gambling with your funds. That's a big no-no. You're never supposed to have control of your customers' funds. You know? And yeah, I'm not here for hopium, guys. That's the whole thing. I don't come here for hopium. And what's up, Vegan Habibi Justin? Glad to see ya. Vivi Habibi Justin is from the West Coast. From what I hear, is the best coast. So hello to you, Justin. Glad you were joining in with us. We're just chilling out tonight, taking it easy, answering your questions. I mean, whatever you guys got going on, whatever you guys got question-wise. I'm probably going to go on for just a little bit more. I'll probably stop around like 8:30 p.m. Eastern time. My throat is just really starting to roast right now. But yeah, I mean, if you guys got questions, comments, things you want to talk about specifically, and Robert, yeah, can I say that real quick? Thank you, Robert, for bringing that up. Robert says, you sounded a bit down on the current state. It's not that I'm down on the industry. I'm down on the fact that governments across the globe aren't putting regulations in to protect consumers. I'm down that, I have had two emails. I've had two emails from crypto projects based in Africa reaching out to me on if I can help them because their funds are stuck in FTX. They weren't doing crypto, like they weren't like leveraging like that. Their funds were in FTX as like a bank because their area didn't have banks like that they could trust that kind of money with for project development. That's two projects. Like that's what hurts, man. Like, so Robert, it's not that I'm down on crypto. It's just that I'm seeing a lot of good people get wiped. I'm seeing a lot of good people getting caught up by the greed of others out there. So I'm not down on crypto. I just think that governments could have stepped in earlier and protected a lot of consumers out there. I do. I think that's what's bothering me more and more is I see that government's taking their time and more people are getting hurt by this. And I don't like that. Because the more people that get burned and hurt with crypto and Web3, the more it puts a bad mark on crypto and Web3. And I don't like that because there's some good tech out there. And there's a lot of good use cases. Trick says, Klaus, it's the way you keep it real with no bollocks. Trust is what it's all about, and it's what you've earned. Well, I appreciate that, Trick, and I do. I try to keep it real. Like, this is, seriously, guys, this is how I was corporately. Oh, shit, you think I'm fun here on stream? This is how I was corporately. All my corporate stuff, you can ask anyone that worked for me. Oh, that sounds bad. Anyone that worked with me. I worked with everyone. No one worked for me. I'm sorry. I apologize. That's not a good statement. Anyone that worked with me will tell you, Adidas track pants and hoodies every day, dude. Every day. You guys would love it. Corporate travel, I'd be on the planes and stuff, all total Adidas out. Like, totally, like, Run DMC style. It was just my thing, dude. Like, I just had my own vibe, and, like, I keep it real. A lot of people couldn't tolerate it because, because they didn't like the reality of it, because a lot of people in corporate are hopium addicts. A lot of them like pumping fake numbers, and I'm a realist, that's kind of my thing. So, yeah, I appreciate that. Totally appreciate that. Doge Lumens says Stellar is part of the Goodwill mission. Doge Lumens is exactly right. The thing with the whole UN use case, and Doge Lumens, just hear me out on this. The thing that's important about that is that's a program where you can replicate all over the globe. It doesn't also have to just be wartime efforts, everyone. Imagine this. Imagine now if Stellar works with another country that maybe had a natural disaster, like a typhoon, right? Think about that. It doesn't just have to be war. It could be typhoons, tornadoes, hurricanes, flooding, any disaster. That means the UN humanitarian stuff can do that. All right? The reason they can do that is because the rails are there, because there's MoneyGram locations frickin' everywhere. So as long as there's MoneyGram locations in these countries, the UN can replicate these projects. That's use case. So thank you, Doge Lumens, for bringing that up. I do appreciate that. James Fairview says the same thing. The MoneyGram UN USDC drop is a great showcase for Stellar. It's true. I got the Stellar hat on right there. Got the Stellar hat on. I think it's awesome. It shows use case, and it shows a different version of use case. Imagine this, right? Two people. One person works for Marlboro. The other person works for some like candy store. The person that works for Marlboro is usually a little bit more stressed because their product isn't of a positive. The candy store is positive. Stellar is the candy store. That's a very positive use case. Very positive use case. I love it. And thank you, Trick. I totally appreciate that. Arnold says, but Klaus, I would not like being a speculator, but nobody's using Stellar around me, and I would like. But as long as I'm not using myself but holding it, I am not speculating against my will. No, and Arnold, and here's the thing. Products like Stellar, like their MoneyGram, stuff like that. Guys, this is still way early in use case. 1.2 billion payments. I got it up on here. Where did I say? Or I'm sorry, 1.3 billion payments. My bad, everyone. 1.3 billion payments. All right? 1.3 billion payments. It's early. Think of how many payments Visa does in a day. PayPal. You see what I mean? Like, payment systems, peer-to-peer systems, Cash App, stuff like that. Those things take time. And that's where I think the hard part is we just need the companies that are partnering with Stellar to do their end of the bargain, and that is do good with the Stellar products, right? We need MoneyGram to hit the home run. We need MoneyGram to hit the home run and really make that use case, really get that product out there. People all over the globe use remittances. Remittances are huge. Doge Lumens will tell you about that. Remittances are big. Stellar is in the remittance corridor business. That's their bag. There's a lot of good that comes with helping people with remittances. The average rate for taxes, or not for tax, for fees for remittances is anywhere from like 11 to 15%. That's how much it costs to move money from place to place on average. Now some locations are more expensive, depending on the locale. But the whole idea is that if you use the Stellar chain, USDC, MoneyGram, you aren't paying anywhere near that. We know what the gas is to use the network. 0.0001 lumens, which is nothing. And then it's just, what is the gas that MoneyGram charges? It's going to be less than that 11% because they're moving the money cheaper. The money is being moved cheaper through the blockchain than through traditional ACH systems. So because the background cost is less, MoneyGram can offer their product at a lower price compared to Western Union, which means when it comes to times of what we're in right now, recessions where everyone's cutting costs, people are going to go for the cheaper option. That's where the whole MoneyGram Stellar program working together with USDC is a huge benefit. Those rails are there. They are in place. They are in place. Railroads before the masses. Rails before the masses. You got to build the lines first. And that's the whole thing. That's where the MoneyGram partnership with Cash to Crypto and Crypto to Cash is huge. Any program, anyone that builds on Stellar gets to be part of that ecosystem. That's crazy. That's a leg up against every other crypto out there. Like I said in the beginning of this stream, someone please tell me who else on this heat map right here has the rails that Stellar has with MoneyGram. Who else here can you cash out just as easily? You can't. You got to go through CeFi. Got to go through some of these exchanges. So it's not that easy. Let's see. Final Ken says, God, Stellar is so good. Klaus says, I exited my position in profit, thankfully. When would you recommend layering back in? I know it's not financial advice. Wow, my typing is going downhill. Too much Jaeger. That's all right, Final Kens. Look at the cues of the Fed and look at the cues of volume. Fed's telling us 2023 sucks. 2024 might be better. That's the reality. But use also volume. Volume's got to come back. Volume's got to be a big indicator. And thank you very much, James. James is saying cheers, all right? I see the beer mug. So let me finish this glass and I'll pour it. Thank you, James, for that. Audiogasm has a good question. Audiogasm says, but if you can only invest in one, which do you invest in? I would ask you this. Why do you only have to invest in one? What business out there only invests in one product line? No, diversify, baby. There's no gun to your Malone. There's no Glock to your dome. That was pretty good, guys. You like that? So yeah, why do you have to just pick one? But thank you, James Fairview. So again, for James Fairview, everyone else out there, cheers, everyone. So, Final Kens and everyone else out there, this is my opinion. This is what I'm doing with my money, okay? I'm going to watch volume, and I'm going to look for the hints of volume. Volume's going to be the key. Price I'm not going to focus on too much. I want to see volume. I want to see interest. All right? I want to see interest in it. I want to see people get involved. I'm also going to look at the Fed's reports here, and the one I'm going to look at, hold on, I'm going to show you guys. There's a chart I want to show you, and I didn't show it yet tonight. I showed it in my deeper dive video, but I want to show you this chart right here. GDP growth. That's GDP growth. No, not that one. Hold on. There's one I want to show you guys specifically. And give me a second here. I'm trying to find it. This one right here. All right. This is the federal funds rate. This is where that fund rate is going to be. You can see, right? At the end of 2023, we're still going to be way high. Average compared to their high expectation and low. Look at this. Even in 2024, which is this segment right here. Drawing this right here for you. Even 2024, Fed fund rate's going to be way up there. Money needs to be cheap for crypto to grow. Audiogasm says, what if you only have 1,500? Well, it's a good start. Again, I'm not telling you what to do with your money, but why not diversify it? Why not a little crypto, a little stocks, a little bit of bonds, diversify. So that if something happens with one, you're protected with the others. Again, it's not financial advice, but it's the same thing in life, right? Think about it. Do you want all your eggs in one basket? I don't know, man. I think that's all your eggs in one basket's rough. And thank you, Robert Melvin, for the cheers. Barno chiming in. And what's up, Barno? Glad you're here, my man. Barno says, you will regret if you're not in. Nobody is smart enough here to know when it's going to happen, but it's going to be unexpected. And I get what you're saying with that, but I think the unexpected part is you're going to see things change. You're going to see expectations within Federal Reserve people change. Here's why. This is one of the things that we got to look at, Barno, and this is why I want to make sure that you guys see and kind of learn this kind of stuff, is Fed expectations, okay? There's a plotgram right here. There is someone that is extremely bearish on the economy. That is very, very bearish indicator right there. And that's in 2024, 2025, okay? Let's make this just a little bit smaller, just so you guys can see it all. All right, there is someone very, very bearish. This is the midpoint target range of the level for Fed fund rate. All right, so you've got some people here. All of these projections up here are very bearish projections. What I want to see, and the thing that I'm using here, is making sure that when I look at this, I see if some of these guys here, some of these bearish people start kind of funneling more into this range here. I want to see if more of these dots up on the top start coming down here. All right, so what this chart is telling us is the future expectations of fund rate from individual members that voted. So you see there's still plenty of people out here that are saying the Fed's rates are going to be high in 2024. I don't know how you're going to have a crypto boom without regulation, because big industry won't get in, big institutional money won't get in, and you won't have retail propping it up because retail money is too expensive, and the Fed's telling us it's going to be expensive. And governments around the world take cues from the U.S. Fed. Governments around the world are raising up central bank rates. And on top of that, venture capital money right now is staying out of crypto. So I think that's what is telling me that there's time, guys. Robert Melvin says, I'm just going to hold it because I don't want to lose position. I'm expecting a DCS price off. And that's my thing, man. That's my thing, Robert, is I'm waiting right now because I've got good bags. And that's everyone's situation's different. I hope everyone realizes that. Everyone who's watching this, your situation is probably different than mine, probably different than the person that commented in the chat just above you and just below you. We all have different situations, so you have to find what fits you, your budget, your tolerance, your expectations. Do you have that cash to put in? Max Payne chiming in, new member of the channel. Sup, Max Payne? By the way, great video game. My favorite part of the Max Payne series is when you're going up floor to floor to floor on the hotel when it's on fire, and you get to use the fire extinguishers and stuff. Oh, I love that. Max Payne. Sorry, I just saw you on there. Max Payne says, checking in, single malt, neat, of course, good stuff. Hatteras Red, Muscadine grapes. So there you go. Cheers to everyone out there. Robert Melvin, I saw your response. Alpine Lager here, Maritime Brew. I stayed away from the beers because I didn't want the high carbonation volume in my stomach because I still have to train one more time tonight, you guys. Like, holy crap. So, yeah, I did not go with the beer. I went with just a thicker, bolder red wine where I could get a little bit of calories after this and then train at, maybe I could train at like 9:30, 10 o'clock, something like that. So, Barrel Tech 89, who was here from the beginning of the stream, thank you, Barrel Tech, says drinking beer. Max Payne says, Robert, raising a sip to you. Look at that. See, be nice and be kind to the people in chat. I love it. If someone asked me earlier, or someone said earlier, said, Klaus, we can really tell you like doing this. Like, part of what it is I like watching you guys in the comments, like, talk to each other. Like, I think it's so cool. We're getting a way to experience and talk to each other about something that we're all passionate about, which is crypto and Web3. Can't go wrong with red wine. No, you cannot. Now, that being said, let me know what you guys want to talk about here in the last couple minutes. I'm going to start winding it down. My throat is just really, really rough from all the streams I did this week. So we've got a couple minutes to go until we're done here. So if you got any questions, comments, anything you want to ask, whether it's for crypto, anything else out there, life, I am willing to answer it. Trick chimes in, my extras come from top grade bud, antiques, gold jewelry, English coins, cash only. I don't know how people survive if they haven't got someone else to fall back on. And that's totally true. That is totally true. And like for me, like I'm flipping a G-Ride. I really want to keep it though. My wife is all like, are you going to keep that one? And I'm like, oh, I've got my Mustang. I got to get rid of my Mustang first because I don't drive my Mustang. I haven't driven my Mustang in years. But like I've got these toys and like my wife's like, what are you going to do? I'm going to sell it. I'm going to do exactly what Trick is saying. Flip stuff, man. Flip stuff. Barrel Tech says, I need a break. I'll get a break tonight when I sleep. I still got to train, though, tonight. I still got to do 4,000 more steps. I had 24,000 steps yesterday, and I'm at 20,400 right now. So I got about 4,000 more steps to go. Audiogasm says, welcome. Klaus is good to subscribe and keep to date. He has made videos lately at night and right on time. Yeah, I've been cranking videos out like all day, man. All day. I've been getting up early, training, cranking them out for you guys. And for the European fans out there, the Jimbo Tangos and all that, I have been cranking out a lot of videos a little bit earlier. And the reason why is because half the viewers for this channel are European. So I want to make sure that I release the videos a couple hours earlier to give my European viewers just a little bit more of a chance to watch them around their lunchtime. So if you notice me doing a little bit earlier videos, I'm trying to build it better backwards for the customer, which is you guys. So I'm just launching them earlier so the European fans can see it. Arnold says, thanks, Klaus. Till soon. I appreciate it. Max Payne says, Klaus gets a standing ovation. Best crypto channel on my favorite crypto. I appreciate that, everyone. Vegan to BB Justin says rewind after stream. He covered it. My thoughts on Algo. I like Algo better than Cardano. I like him better than others. But Algo falls in that group, Justin. I don't know if there's going to be anything special on Algo. I don't dislike it. You have to sell me on what's special about Algo. I mean, seriously, like, do that. Like, so sell me on Algo. Someone please do. Robert says the man is real. Barno chiming in. Thank you, Barno. And Barno, here's the whole thing. So the way that Barno views how the market is going to pivot and the way how I'm going to pivot is two totally different ways. That's okay, and that's totally respected. And Barno, I love the fact that you feel comfortable to come on here, share an opinion that's not mine, and you know it's welcome, and you know I'm not going to throw any hate or shade at you. I appreciate that. So if you guys want to know why I like doing this stuff, it's because of people like Barno. Like, people like Barno, like, seriously, like, I got to be honest with you guys. Like, he's been a long-time viewer of the channel, and he knows. He doesn't have to come on here and say what I want to hear. He says what he believes is right, and I respect it. We talk about our differences, and we're both good to go. So, Barno, a huge shout-out to you. Arnold says, but please do not do too much. We need you for a long time. No, I'm fine. Guys, I've got plenty of steam, plenty of fight. This is, for me, I love this too much. I really, really love this too much. Like, this is just a lot of fun. But yeah, we're going to wrap it up here in a couple minutes. I'm going to put it in the chat right now that 8:30 p.m. Eastern time stream will be ending, just so that I could give my throat a little bit of a rest, as well as get one more training session in tonight. That'll be my 4th cardio session of the day. Oh, tired, man. Talk about tired. So, yep, let me know what you guys want to talk about. The big things that we are covered in the stream. Use case. Crypto still has to follow use case. And that's PM, not OM. I can't type. Sorry, everyone. That is PM. Sorry about that. Is use case. The cryptos out there that you are involved in, that you're interested in, do they have a use case? Is there a supply and demand mechanism that's healthy between the two? And within that supply and demand mechanism, is there a profitability mechanism? I think that's important. Shioban says, Klaus, what are your feelings about holding physical silver and where it's going? I am a big physical silver fan. I'm a big silver and gold fan. Precious metals have been held down by paper money, future contracts. If you ever look at it, it's future contracts. I'm big into hard metals. When it comes down to it, there's a lot of countries that still prefer hard metals. There's a lot of countries that are still buying hard metals. Frank Liam says, new sub, Doge Lumens sent me. Thank you, Doge Lumens. And thank you, Liam, for letting me know who sent you too. I appreciate that. Vlad says, it's 1:30 a.m. here. Time to get some rest. Have a great day. You are much appreciated for all the effort. Peace out. I appreciate you guys. I appreciate the fans. Max Payne says, you're awesome, Klaus. Stop in on the way to Colorado. Oh, man. All right, Max, tell me, all right? I mean, like, just take you to KC Barbecue. Oh, I see, I do. I actually, when I go to Colorado, I go close to Kansas City or I go through Texarkana area. So it depends. If I'm going to see my kids, I go through Kansas City on my way to Colorado because my kids live up in South Dakota. But if I'm just going to Colorado straight from my house, I go through Texarkana. I go through, like, Oklahoma, Texas Panhandle, that area. But yeah, you guys are great. I really appreciate it. I'm going to do a final cheers to everyone out there that has watched, commented. The donation super chats are seriously thankful. The new members, the old faces and the old screen names that I see here that are commenting. Guys, this is why I do it. This is why on a Friday night I feel good to do this, because this is fun. I've met some great people here, and this is great. Robert Melvin, I appreciate it. You know that. Robert Melvin chimes in, well done, good sir. I wish you all safe and happy holiday season, you and yours. Yes, definitely Merry Christmas to everyone out there, whatever holiday you celebrate. Obviously, you guys know we're going to be doing more live streams. I'm going to be busy. Holy shit, Max Payne says, Hill City, South Dakota. I used to live in Sioux Falls and spent a ton of time out there in the Black Hills. Oh, I used to hunt all the time in Mitchell and West of Mitchell for pheasant. So, Max Payne, I'm actually a huge pheasant hunter. I don't know if you guys have seen, I actually wear my South Dakota hunting hoodies, my pheasant opener hoodies. So, just throwing it out there, Max Payne. So, the fact that you mentioned South Dakota, man, you just perked my ears up on that. But, dude, I love you guys. A vous sante, as they say in French. Yeah, allez au revoir. That's the other one they say is allez au revoir, everyone. But no, thank you very much, everyone, for chiming in. Cheers to you all. I'm gonna play a little bit of music. Make sure you guys please say goodbye to everyone in the chats. All right, not just saying goodbye to me. Say goodbye to everyone in the chats. I'm gonna play some music. Leave it with the heat map so y'all can say your thank yous. Have a great rest of your night, everyone. Yeah, and seriously, thank you everyone for watching. Thank you for hitting the like button. This is a lot of fun here, and I know the streams are rough. I know the times are tough with the heat map being red, but I just wanted to thank the fans, and I wanted to thank you all for putting time in. Taking time out of your Friday nights means a lot to me, and just a sincere thank you from me to you, from everyone, because it means a lot. When people are taking time out of their Friday nights to listen in and join in and participate, that means a lot. So thank you, everyone, and have a great rest of your evening. Later, Gary, and thank you for chiming in early too, sir.